that they're already
incredible.
in.
Yeah.
It's just incredible, and then you look at the announcement yesterday with Turning Stone, finishing up their next, or finishing up the first phase of their next expansion project. There is some amazing stuff going on in this community. I take a different approach, being in law enforcement, because our job obviously is to keep everybody safe, and these are all positive things, and we're just happy to, not that we have anything to do with these projects, but we play a vital role in keeping our community safe, and I'm happy to be part of this time. These are years and things happening that they'll be talking about for generations.
Yeah.
Right.
And it also, listen, when a farmer goes to the bank now and wants to invest in dairy, you have a $1 billion project right there for the bank to reference, which is a far better position than they were in prior to Tuesday. So that's pretty awesome.
100%,
Yep.
Without a doubt, 100%.
All right, Sheriff, as always, we appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Sounds good. We'll see you out and about somewhere, guys.
All right,
Have a great day.
Have a great day.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Sheriff Rob Machel, and he's right. This is just this is really amazing news. And somebody said to me as we're there inside Sky Dome, this is bigger than high tech. All the tech jobs that we've been. These are real jobs. They move quickly, and the other part of this is. The Chobani ownership, they're all committed to New York. That's a big deal.
Good morning. WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM news time is 6:30. I'm Megan Stone with your news update, brought to you by the new Destination Kia of Utica Commercial Drive in Yorkville. Currently 52 degrees outside. It just keeps getting warmer. Who doesn't love that? Cloudy skies. Your full weather forecast will be coming up right after this. Westmoreland residents in the Tyndall Water District are under a boil water advisory. This comes following a water main break on the East South Street area. Town of Westmoreland officials say the break has been repaired, but advise residents to continue boiling their water. This advisory will remain in effect until at least 5 p.m. tomorrow. New information is being released about the arrest of Mahmoud Khalil, the Columbia grad student who was arrested last month. Court documents revealed that ICE agents arrested Khalil without a warrant, and Homeland Security says he was taken into custody for certain circumstances. Khalil, a green card holder, was targeted for his role in pro-Palestinian protests and has been in detention since early March. Due to the lack of a warrant during his arrest, Khalil's lawyers are asking for his case to be dropped. A news report seems to have scared off Columbia University students who had planned to set up a tent encampment to protest the continuing Israel-Hamas war in Gaza. NBC News first reported Wednesday that dozens of Columbia students held a secret meeting in Brooklyn where they organized an encampment for Thursday and Friday, like the one that caused chaos on the campus last year and caused disruptions during graduation. The university sent out an alert warning students they could be arrested if they put up tents. There were security checkpoints, locked gates, and lots of police at the Morningside Heights campus on Thursday, and no signs of tents or protests. And an inmate at Oneida County Correctional was arrested on prison contraband possession charges. According to the Oneida County Sheriff's Office, officials received a contraband complaint on the 19th that claimed an inmate had a sharp metal object in their possession. The complaint was turned over to the Criminal Investigative Unit, who arrested 21-year-old Tristan Deeb and charged him with promoting prison contraband in the first degree, which is a Class D felony. Deeb was held at the correctional facility to await centralized arraignment. Your WIBX news time is 6:32. Here is your full weather forecast.
Expect some clouds on this Friday. There may be a shower popping up later today with a high of 76. Rain will increase tonight with a low of 57. And get ready to face some showers if you're going to be out and about during the weekend with a high near 65 Saturday. Then a cooler Sunday with a high topping out in the mid to upper 50s. I'm Jeff Marr at the Weather Channel on WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
52 degrees and cloudy outside. Your WIBX news time is 6:33. I'm Megan Stone.
Davey, I want to, in a little while, get into the Jacksonville's pick. Jacksonville's trade and the whole historic moment, they're calling it. And it very well could be for them. We'll talk about that with the draft, and also the Bills with a good draft pick. We'll get into that. Jeff Manasso on the line right now from Fox News Radio. Jeff, good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Today is the day that one of the more amusing and disgraceful Congress people that we've seen in recent times, George Santos, is expected to be sentenced. What do we know?
Yeah, former congressman kicked out of Congress for his bad deed. Sentencing is on Long Island today for the former New York congressman, as prosecutors seeking more than 7 years in prison
Wow.
for George Santos. He pled guilty. He pled guilty to federal fraud and identity theft charges. And in court filings, the U.S. attorney for the Eastern District of New York, they argued that a significant sentence is warranted due to the New York Republicans' unparalleled crimes that they say had made a mockery of the country's election system, from his creation of a wholly fictitious biography to his callous theft of money from elderly and impaired donors. They say they say that his claims of remorse after pleading guilty rings hollow, but Santos's lawyers have dismissed the 7-year proposal. They call it absurd and unfounded. They say it appears designed to beat up on a man that already took full responsibility for his actions. They argue for a 2-year prison term. So he's going to prison either way, it looks because that's the mandatory minimum sentence for aggravated ID theft.
It is interesting. Their defense there and getting a lighter sentence is that he took full responsibility. The reality is he ran out of areas where he could lie his way out, it seemed. I mean, some of the stories he told, some of the from the fake bio to this, I think there was a story about his mother and 9/11, and I mean the story after story. I think he just ran out of space.
He cast himself, he's 36 years old, and cast himself as a wealthy businessman, graduated from top colleges, worked at a prestigious Wall Street firm, held valuable real estate portfolios. In truth, he was struggling financially. He faced eviction, and he duped voters, deceived donors, and stole identities from nearly a dozen people, including his own family members, to make donations to his congressional campaign.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
So we will see, Megan.
Jeff, I have a quick question about what this will have as repercussions in future elections. Now, we know George Santos, when he was on the running the circuit and being called out for his so-called lies, he said he was just embellishing, and it later turned out that he was being a flim-flammer. My question is, when the sentencing comes down, how is this going to impact future elections should future candidates on either side of the aisle decide to quote-unquote embellish their own resumes?
I mean, but who knows? The argument might be made that most politicians are
every resume is embellished.
Every resume is embellished.
However, but he took it to an area, Jeff, that no one goes. He went to a place that most people don't go.
Victimized his family members.
Yeah,
and that's,
yeah. As for, listen, they say put on your nicest clothes, even if you're dirt poor. Get out there and look rich and give a good presentation, and you will succeed. I mean, I think people try to deceive in a constructive way every day. He just took it to a whole new level, so a criminal level. All right, Jeff, we appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jeff.
Have a good weekend, guys.
You do the same. Jeff Manasso, Fox News Radio. Davey, yesterday, of course, you stayed up late to get a little of the NFL draft.
I wasn't going to stay up all night long, but I got embedded in watching after the trade between Cleveland and Jacksonville at number 2, and I wanted to see what the Giants were going to do.
So talk about that. That was the Jacksonville
just came out of nowhere and made a deal,
and a team that really has not made any noise, right, over the years.
Well, they had Doug Peterson, the former Super Bowl coach of the Eagles, for the 2 years, and they fired him.
Yeah.
And then they brought in Liam Cohen, who was the offensive coordinator for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and he's the new head coach this year. So it's a whole totally brand new ballpark in Jacksonville.
Yeah, and this apparently has been in the works for quite some time. Here's a little audio from last night as Cam Ward goes.
With the first pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Tennessee Titans select Cameron Ward, quarterback, Miami.
So from there on, it got exciting.
So they're in Green Bay at Lambeau Field. So Roger Goodell came out on a bicycle. Then they brought out all legends from Green Bay. They brought out Clay Matthews, Mason Crosby, a couple other people.
Andrew Dominio, one of the owners.
Yeah. So Clay Matthews got up to the podium and said, "People, I just got off the phone with Donald Trump, and he sent me a message." So he took out a letter and he said, "Chicago Bears, you still."
Wow.
Okay.
That's one way to kick off the party.
The Bills made a really good move.
Yeah, I'm really impressed with this move. The Maxwell kid from Kentucky.
Yeah.
And Brandon Beane said on the post interview after the draft.com, they're going to fit him right into the cornerback selection. We need a cornerback.
Yeah. Next, I think the Bills today will be looking for a
picks.
receiver.
They have 2 picks in the second round.
Yeah.
Do you think we need a receiver?
I think so. I think you got to get just somebody else for Josh Allen. I read that's where they're going to be going.
Okay.
So we'll see what.
And last year we got Coleman from Florida State.
Yeah.
Remember they traded out of the first round.
Yes,
They traded with Kansas City, and that they had the second pick in the first round. They took Coleman from Florida State.
By the way, Josh Allen, I think, just got married.
Oh.
Did you?
I see that he was in town for the off-season voluntary. It was non-voluntary workouts, but he was in town this week.
Yeah. I don't know. I saw pictures of him standing next to a bridal gown.
Miss Allen.
She played the role of who's the American female poet? What was that show?
Emily Dickens.
It was kind of a modern version of it with modern music, maybe older period style clothing, but modern text. And
did you like it though?
We were glued to it. We really liked it, and I liked her. So I see what Josh Allen was.
Fantastic.
We won't keep this up for very much longer. But the shocking of the night of the draft was Deion Sanders' son not getting drafted as expert.
Is that a shock, though? I mean, really, everybody didn't think that he was going to go in the first round, though.
And you were even talking about it yesterday.
Everybody was predicting, Bill, that he was going to be one of the first 5 picks.
Wow.
He was talked to the Giants, but they ended up taking the Carter kid from Penn State.
So what happened?
And that, by the way, is a pick that got a very low grade.
Abdul Carter?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Read about that one. I thought that was kind of interesting. So, all right. They say he will be no better than what Manaski's been complaining about for the last 5 years.
One other quick point on the Travis Hunter pick going number 2 to Jacksonville. It'd be interesting to see what they do because he's a two-way starter. He's on defense and wide receiver.
Yeah. All right, very interesting. It was something to watch. We got a bunch to get to today. I do have to say, coming in, I had an adventure 3 ways. First of all, it's always good to walk into a technical disaster in the studio. Mm-hmm. We did that again today, although we're starting to somehow find ways to work around this stuff in this brand new high-tech studio.
You're putting in your 10,000 hours, Bill.
We should be pretty close to that, considering it's been almost a year now. Nonetheless, driving in, I swear, I wish I had the life where I could just tiptoe through the tulips every morning.
That's a mental image.
I don't have that time. It just doesn't work out for me that way. I often am just, flying to the next moment, to the next element, to the next thing that I have to do. Checking the boxes, getting in, getting out, whatever it is I'm doing. Meanwhile, I fall behind some guy on the highway this morning that was about 25 to 28 miles an hour was his speed
Those are the
consistency, the
worst.
average speed.
So was he drunk or something?
I'm thinking that because he was doing a little swerving around, I'm like, and it's a line of there were two people ahead of me and then him. But you could see he was swerving because I'm thinking, how do I get past this person? Mm-hmm. And I couldn't. But when I finally did, he has his iPad leaning up on the dash of the car. I'm pretty sure it was the iPad. Some of these displays in these cars are enormous today, but this looked like a pretty good-sized iPad. And he's just reading what looked like the daily news, checking his emails. And when I walk by, he's scrolling. He's like moving things around on the iPad.
Is insane, Bill.
And I just finally flew by him. Then I get to a point where I'm going down Route 12, and in the left lane, this is the Joe Griffo complaint. In the left lane, you sit there in the left lane. You don't move out of the left lane. There's people behind you. So what do? You got to go into the right lane.
Yeah.
And as I'm going by this person in the right lane, I begin to see just out of the corner of my left mirror, their blinker, right blinker go on. And as I continued to pull, she almost went right into me.
Oh, my goodness.
She swerved away. She almost lost control as she was trying to get out of my lane. And I swooped on by and came in to find more digital problems here in the studio.
Gosh.
So there's a morning to start a day, and it's only 6:44 in the morning.
But you know what? You got the excitement out already.
Oh, surely, yes.
Knock on wood.
6:44, Willie Waffle, and what to watch this weekend. I've actually got a few requests to check on some things and some movies and streaming and all of that, see what Willie thinks. Willie Waffle is coming up at WIBX.
Mattress Express's closeout sale on brand new leftover inventory and floor models. Right now, buy a king or queen and get a free adjustable base. Take up to 5 years to pay with no money down for qualified buyers and no credit check payment plans available as well.
Hi folks, this is Rob Hilton. Your family is your greatest treasure. Is your estate plan ready to protect them when it matters most? At Hilton Estate and Elder Law, we understand the importance of getting it right. That's why we offer a free review of your current plan. Together, we'll assess it and provide honest feedback to ensure it truly works. No cost, no obligation, just confidence and peace of mind. Let's prepare for the future together. Schedule a free review today.
Hilton, you know the name, they know the law.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-885-5995. 800-885-5995. 800-885-5995.
Hey, it's me, your liver. You know, the organ that helps you recover every weekend after pizza, donuts, and all those drinks. But where's the love for your best buddy, the liver? The least that you could do to help me stay healthy is take Active Liver from New Nordic. Active Liver provides an easy daily detox and helps protect me all year long.
You can find Active Liver at CVS and online at Amazon or directly from NewNordicUSA.com. Again, in stores at CVS or NewNordicUSA.com.
Empowered Pathways invites you to an unforgettable evening. Come to the table. Happening Friday, May 16th at Harts Hill Inn in Whitesboro. Enjoy a cocktail hour from 5:30 to 6:30. Stunning table designs by local artists, silent auctions, themed baskets, and a delicious dinner prepared by Harts Hill Inn.
And don't miss the highlight of the night, an exciting live auction where you can go home with a one-of-a-kind designer table. Hosted by Susan Knackley with live music from local favorite Ronnie Lee. It's a night you won't want to miss.
Proceeds support Empowered Pathways life-changing programs, from conflict resolution and job training to youth and family services, making a real impact right here in our community.
Doors open at 4:30. The fun kicks off at 5:30. Join us Friday, May 16th at Harts Hill Inn. Learn more at empoweredpathwayscny.org. That's empoweredpathwayscny.org.
Get pumped for summer. Add smart heat pump cooling and heating to your home. Call City Suburban today. 315-864-9734 or go online to citysuburban.com. That's citysuburban.com.
This is Keeler in the Morning. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Mike, this morning, I think the guy in front of you was Wayne on his cell phone.
Ouch, Wayne, you're never going to let that down, buddy.
That's funny. I think the Bills will need a running back, as they will likely be Cook's last year. He wants a ton of money. It may be his last year. You're absolutely right. He does want a lot of money. We'll see what happens there. And on the line right now is the one and only WrestleMania fan. Yes, he is Willie Waffle. Good morning, Willie.
Well, good morning, and I'm trying to recover from the Pittsburgh Steelers breaking my heart last night during the draft.
All right, what was your issue there? What happened?
You know, there was a nice young quarterback named Jackson Dart that was available when the Steelers were picking, and they kind of need a quarterback.
Yeah.
They need someone who can throw the ball to their two malcontent wide receivers. And they're gonna end up signing Aaron Rodgers.
My God! I hope that doesn't happen for you.
Oh, God, this is gonna be a throwback to when they had Ben Roethlisberger and Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell, and there was just drama every day.
It is the thing with Aaron Rodgers is he has become just a drama magnet, and there's and discontentment in the locker room, and jealousy and arguing and leaking things to the media. Good luck with that.
Yeah, and you could put up with it back when he was the MVP.
Yes.
But right now he's just a good quarterback.
Yeah.
He's not horrible. I mean, he'll do okay, but you can't take the baggage. That's why Shadur Sanders is still sitting back home in Colorado, back in Texas right now, because you know what? Nobody wants the drama.
Yeah. And the other part, I think it gets worse as the season goes on, because he begins to get frustrated, and then he starts yelling at players when things don't work, and it gets ugly on the field, and it sours like milk that's sitting there on the counter, and it just sits there. And then you, by mistake, take a little sip of it. Terrible tasting. Or following a guy coming into work who's doing 22 miles an hour, reading his emails. I'm sorry.
Seriously?
Get it out, Bill.
Sorry.
Get it out.
Seriously?
I'm sorry.
Don't apologize.
A giant iPad sitting on his dash, I swear. Okay, I have one to start with here this morning.
Okay.
Please ask Willie about the movie Warfare.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to check it out. I have to apologize to everybody, but this has been kind of like this quiet little kind of sleeper hit.
Mm-hmm.
I say check it out if you're interested. I mean, it seems to be just it kind of came out of nowhere a couple of weeks ago when it got released, and then kind of got lost in the shuffle of the big blockbuster Minecraft, and has just been performing, and I think they even had, or they did at one time, or maybe they still do have some deals for veterans to go see it as well.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So that is in theaters right now.
Yes,
okay.
In theaters right now.
The Accountant 2 is in theaters right now. What do you think?
And when did the original Accountant become a big deal? Like, I remember that movie. It was 8-9 years ago. It was okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't anything special, if you ask me. And all of a sudden now they've got a sequel this far after, and they've totally kind of gone down this other premise. They've essentially said, yes, he's still kind of like this autistic accountant. He still uses his abilities to solve very complex problems, but now he's some sort of vigilante teaming up with his brother, played by John Bernthal. And they've taken this and they've really just tried to put the framework of some sort of evil crime that they could get to the bottom of, and they could catch the bad guys. But really what it's all about is they're trying to make it a buddy movie, almost a comedy action movie where, Affleck and his brother go on these adventures, and they have wisecracks back and forth, and they have these fun little moments together. The brothers kind of find their love for each other. And that's the part of the movie that you're going to enjoy. I mean, it's the dialogue between the brothers. It's the hanging out that they do.
Yeah.
Not so much this case that they're trying to solve. This whole idea that somebody from the accountant's past was murdered. He left a note. Call the accountant. Affleck knows. Well, that means I'm supposed to get to the bottom of it and find out why it happened. I mean, I'm at like 2.5 waffles.
Right.
I think you've got an entertaining movie.
How about Until Dawn?
I'm excited about this one.
Until Dawn in theaters.
Oh God, I hate breaking somebody's heart when they say I'm excited.
Oh no,
about
I
this
know
one.
because I played the original game. It had Rami Malek and Hayden Panettiere in it, and neither of them are in this movie, so I know it's not going to be good.
Well, and like you said, it's based on a video game, and it comes off like a video game. This whole idea that this group of friends they head out into this rural kind of isolated area where the sister of one of the friends mysteriously disappeared a year ago, and all of a sudden every night something tries to kill them. Like it's like a revival of every horror movie you've ever seen. One night it's a slasher, one night it's something paranormal, one night it's zombies, whatever it might be. And somehow these people figure out that if we can survive the night, because every night they die, and they're like, well, if we can survive one night, that means we'll be able to escape. So now, every night they're on the run and they're trying to survive. I mean, it's not very original.
Yeah.
I think it's really gruesome. You know me, I'm not a big fan of very gruesome movies. I don't think it's very funny when it wants to be. I don't think it's very original. I mean, I'm at one waffle. And don't hate me, okay?
No, it's a no. Thank you for telling me, because that is really disappointing. They really deviated from the story of the original game, which brought Supermassive Games into the limelight as a horror game maker. I will get off my pedestal now.
What you don't know about Megan is she is a gamer, right?
Gamer light.
Okay. All right.
Zero calories.
That's what she says.
Yeah.
She's not willing to admit how much she loves the life.
Yeah,
okay?
I believe you're right.
Embrace the life.
I'm with my 3DS with Tamagotchi Life. Don't come at me.
You're speaking a different language to me. I don't even understand it. American Pickers, the store closing down. This whole show is going up in flames,
that's
smoke,
sad.
and with all the right. I mean, this whole show is going down.
Yeah, I mean, it had its run. I mean, when you think about it, it's been on the air for a pretty long time.
And I had no idea there was a drug problem or alcohol problem, and they didn't like each other. And this whole drama that went along with it that was really very sad.
No, it is very sad, and now Frankie is gone.
Yeah.
And and it was. I think that no matter how much they try to keep the show going, the thing that was really interesting was kind of that relationship between Mike Wolf and Frankie Fritz. And kind of these friends, they had been friends forever. This is something they did back before they were famous, and going off and finding these things. And yes, sometimes they had little fights that were funny to watch. And and lots of times they had just a mutual interest in the same thing. But yeah, Mike Wolf sounds like a guy who's starting to turn down his life a little bit. Maybe kind of step back a little bit. They announced that his Nashville store, Antique Archaeology, is closing like this weekend.
Yeah, April 27th.
Sunday's going to be the last day, and then he's going to make one last appearance tomorrow. And and he said, listen, I'm going to start spending more time back home in Iowa. He's got another store back in Iowa, kind of the original store. Said he wants to spend time with his mother, who's getting a little bit older.
Yeah.
And he just sounds like a guy who's, what, I'm rich, I don't have to work this hard. I'm going to start kind of relaxing a little bit.
And then one more quickly. I have 30 seconds. Josh Allen, I believe, just got married.
They finally got married.
I think so. It was like a secret wedding. The pictures are leaking out, but he scored big time. I think Josh Allen did off the field.
Yeah, marrying the Hollywood actress Haley Steinfeld, who is one of the stars of the hottest movie out there right now, Sinners. And, you're good for him. I think it's great. I hope he's happy. I hope it makes him an even better quarterback.
Yes.
And I hope that, this is what he needs to overcome the Kansas City Chiefs. Right
That is it. She is it.
The true love is what he really needs.
All right, Willie, you enjoy the weekend. Thank you, man.
Thank you, Willie.
You got it. Talk to you next week.
Thanks so much.
The Potting Shed Antiques in Whitesboro is buying silver, gold-filled, vintage costume, estate jewelry, and U.S. and Canadian coins. They've been your hometown buyer for over 50 years. While other gold and silver buyers claim to offer the highest prices, the Potting Shed Antiques actually delivers. Let Don Hartman take a look at your individual pieces or your entire collection. The Potting Shed Antiques, open Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. Please call ahead for an appointment. Visit thepottingshedantiques.com.
Clearing out your home or commercial building, John's Cleanouts and Property Preservation will handle it for you. We handle residential or any size commercial property, before and after estate sale cleanouts or any junk removal service. John's Cleanouts and Property Preservation is a 5-star rated and background checked business, providing service you can count on, and we're fully insured in the industry. Call John's Cleanouts and Property Preservation today and take the stress out of your mess.
The first ever Herkimer County Outdoor Showcase is happening this weekend at the Herkimer County Fairgrounds in Frankfort with over 18 vendors in one place, featuring hunting, camping, fishing, RVs, boats, ATVs, tractors, landscaping, and so much more. If it's outdoors, it's at the Outdoor Showcase, sponsored by Oak Hill Motors, RV and Marine, Route 5 Frankfort. The Herkimer County Outdoor Showcase, now through Sunday this weekend at the Herkimer County Fairgrounds off Route 5S, Frankfort. Open every day this weekend from 10 a.m. till 6 p.m.
Hey, I got to say that outdoor showcase, the first Herkimer County Outdoor Showcase, is happening, as you just heard, this weekend. Today, tomorrow, and Sunday. And if it's RVs or camping or hunting or whatever is outdoors, it's going on there this weekend, 10 a.m. till 6 p.m. each day in Frankfort.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX Utica, Rome, W295EI, WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, a Town Square media station.
Attacks in Ukraine and Russia. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. The one near Moscow was a car bombing today that Russian officials say killed a senior military officer, a lieutenant general, as Russia launched another drone strike that hit an apartment building in a southeastern Ukraine city, killing 3 people. The day after a drone and missile attack on the capital, Kyiv, killed 12, prompting President Trump to urge Russia's leader to stop.
Very simply, I have no allegiance to anybody. I have allegiance to saving lives, and I want to save a lot of lives. A lot of young people, mostly young people. It's the war. It's the soldiers.
President Trump says over the next few days there are major negotiations on the war in Ukraine and that we'll know in the next week or two if they're successful. Trump refuses to say what happens if talks fail.
That's Fox's Rich Edson. Now, next hour, the president's planning to leave and fly to Rome to join other world leaders attending Pope Francis's funeral early tomorrow morning, as the public viewing of the Pope's casket is now on a 3rd day.
Seeing the body and just remembering everything that he stood for is very important.
Now, he's among the 128,000 people who've already paid last respect. As for tomorrow at the Vatican,
they're also preparing for at least 200,000 people to descend on St. Peter's Square and the surrounding area. Pope Francis's burial site has been prepared, a marble tomb marked only Franciscus. It's in the Papal Basilica of St. Mary Major in Rome. A slow procession will comprise the late pontiff's final journey.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. More deportation controversy.
A federal judge is ordering the Trump administration to bring home a second man who was deported to El Salvador. The Trump-appointed federal judge argues the deportation violated a court settlement which required authorities to process an asylum application. He came to the U.S. as an unaccompanied minor and should have been able to go through the process before deportation.
Fox's David Spunt. The Trump administration has been resisting legal efforts to bring Kilmar Abrego Garcia back. He was mistakenly deported last month. America's listening to Fox News.
All of us need to be prepared to defend ourselves and our families, and we need to start with the less lethal option to avoid the legal complications associated with firearms. Byrna has their less lethal pistol launcher. It is equipped with tear gas and kinetic ammunition. It It is designed to incapacitate any attacker for up to 40 minutes. Go to their website, byrna.com/Hannity. Right now, you'll get 10% off. Let me tell you this burner story. Bob was at home. An intruder physically forced his way inside. Now, luckily, Bob had just received his burner 4 days prior to this incident, and he used it to get the man outside and off of his property. Burner, it's legal in all 50 states. There's no background check needed. It can be shipped directly to your door. Now, see the powerful technology that is Burner. Go to their website, byrna.com/Hannity. Right now, you'll get 10% off. That's byrna.com/Hannity today.
President Trump keeps insisting the U.S. is in trade talks with China, which denies that. Amid a standoff over high tariffs on imports, as the president tries to also work out deals with other countries.
Sitting alongside its prime minister, President Trump said Norway is one country he is not expecting any trouble with in trade negotiations.
We've had a great relationship with Norway. I think just keep it the way it is, kid. You can't do better.
Norway faces a 15% tariff rate under a reciprocal tariff formula put on hold earlier this month at the White House. Jared Halpern, Fox News.
On Wall Street, stock futures are down about 200 points for the Dow after a third straight day of big gains. The NFL draft started last night, and one big storyline is a star quarterback not picked.
Shedeur Sanders will have to wait another day to hear his name called at the NFL draft. Sanders was not selected Thursday night, with two quarterbacks going in the first round. Cam Ward was taken by the Tennessee Titans with the first pick of the night, before the Giants traded back into the first round to select Jackson Dart at number 25. The biggest move of the draft came right after Ward was taken number 1, when the Jaguars moved up to the second spot, sending a package of picks to the Browns that includes a first-rounder in 2026 to select two-way star and reigning Heisman Trophy winner Travis Hunter. Joe Morgan, Fox News.
In the NBA playoffs, a big comeback from the West's top team.
Holmgren dials it up again from deep. And here comes Oklahoma City.
Chet Holmgren led the Thunder, who rallied from down 29 points on TNT, and Oklahoma City beat Memphis 114-108 to take a 3-0 series lead. The LA Clippers blew out Denver by 34 points to go up 2-1. The New York Knicks went up 2-1 on Detroit with a 118-116 win. In the NHL playoffs, Florida, Minnesota, St. Louis, and Toronto were all winners last night. I'm Dave Anthony, and this is Fox News.
Good morning, WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM news time is 7:05. I'm Megan Stone with your news update, brought to you by the new destination Kia of Utica, Commercial Drive in Yorkville. Right now, it's 52 degrees under cloudy skies. Your full weather forecast is coming up right after this. Westmoreland residents in the Tyndall Water District are under a boil water advisory. This comes following a water main break on East South Street. Town of Westmoreland officials say the break has been repaired, but advise residents to continue boiling their water. This advisory will be in effect until at least 5 p.m. tomorrow. The man who was shot and killed in Utica on Tuesday has been identified. Utica police say 33-year-old Omar Mitchell died following gunfire that broke out near the intersection of Kemble and Walker Street. Officers said Mitchell was rushed to Wynn Hospital but later succumbed to his injuries. Authorities are actively investigating the homicide and searching through multiple scenes. Utica police are asking the public to help them find the person or persons responsible. Those with information are urged to call them at 315-223-3556, or you can leave a 100% completely anonymous tip to the Mohawk Valley Crime Stoppers at 866-730-8477 or via the P3 Tips mobile app. The search for Herkimer College's new president has narrowed to 5 final candidates, one of which is a member of the Trump family. The Herkimer College Board of Trustees say the 5 were chosen from the Presidential Search Committee and will speak via a series of open forums on May 1st through the 7th at Robert McLaughlin College Center. The chosen 5 are Albert Lees Jr. of Northwest State University Community College, Jonathan Ashdown of Hudson Valley Community College, Terry Day of Volunteer State Community College, Michael Sikosi of Rowan College, and Anthony Trump of Bergen Community College. A new president will be selected on May 21st. Lawmakers in New York have approved an 8th budget extender to make sure the state can continue to pay its bills. This latest extender lasts through Tuesday and means that since the April 1st budget deadline, over $11 billion in emergency spending has been approved. School districts are expressing frustration about the lack of a budget because they don't know how much state aid they'll be able to rely on as they craft their own fiscal plans. Statewide school budget voting is coming up on May 20th. And President Trump is supporting the idea of providing moms bonuses after having a child. The president's comments came after the media asked about reports of the administration considering the concept. Trump said it sounds like a good idea in response. The White House is looking to bring up the nation's birth rates with the bonus as one of the proposals. A pitch for more funding efforts for education on menstrual cycles for women is also being floated.
Dumbest idea I have ever heard in my life. I can't believe it's coming from a Republican. I'm just saying. So can you imagine what's going to happen? We're going to be having people having babies so they can get their check.
But it's not even going to cover.
And then, oh, by the way, we'll all be taking care of them because they really don't want the kids. They want the cash. Well, I can't even. This is like a Chinese concept. This is what they do in China. You're limited, but they want you to have a kid. I just think this is stupid.
Well, Bill, I want to jump in here. I was watching an influencer recently had a child, and they documented their entire hospital stay. $37,000 to deliver their child. Their insurance covered about 40% of it, so they're left with a bill of $17,000. So that $5,000 would bring their total amount owed to the hospital to give birth to $12,000, and their child was born healthy.
Okay.
Yeah.
I still think it's stupid. And remember, if you're getting $5,000, and that's your tax-free bonus from the government, and you're under the income, or you have insurance, your insurance is going to cover most of that anyway. And if you don't have insurance, we'll be covering it. I just think it's ridiculous. I'm sorry. I shouldn't be piping in. How about we do the forecast?
Absolutely. Your WIBX news time is 7:09. Here is your Weather Center forecast.
Expect some clouds on this Friday. There may be a shower popping up later today with a high of 76. Rain will increase tonight with a low of 57. And you're ready to face some showers if you're going to be out about during the weekend with a high near 65 Saturday. Then a cooler Sunday with a high topping out in the mid to upper 50s. I'm Jeff Marr at the Weather Channel on WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Your WIBX news time is 7:10, 52 degrees under cloudy skies. Now let's take a look at sports. And sports broadcasting from the IBEW 43 local sports desk. The first round of the 2025 NFL Draft is in the books. The Giants stayed at number 3 to take Penn State defensive end Abdul Carter and traded back up to number 25 with the Texans to take Ole Miss quarterback Jackson Dart. The Jets selected Missouri offensive tackle Armand Membeau with the 7th overall pick. The second and third rounds of the draft there tonight. The G-men have the 65th pick. The Jets have picks 42 and 73. The Bills added some help to their secondary last night. Buffalo selected Kentucky cornerback Maxwell Hairston with the 30th overall pick in the first round of the NFL Draft. Hairston ran the fastest 40-yard dash of anyone on the combine, clocking it at 4.28 seconds. And a commenter on the YouTube also said that they love the pick because he was also in the green room high-fiving and hyping up every draft pick before him. So it seems like he is a class act. Very popular decision by the Buffalo Bills. Meanwhile, the Titans selected Cam Ward with the first overall pick in the draft. The Jaguars traded up to number 2 spot with the Browns to select Heisman Trophy winner Travis Hunter. Rounds 2 and 3, they are tonight. The wait for Shadir Sanders, it continues today. The Colorado quarterback did not get selected in the first round of the NFL Draft. The Giants, Saints, and Steelers were considered ideal fits for the son of the Hall of Famer Deion Sanders. Shadir was expected to be a top 3 pick early in the draft process. The Mets take on the Nationals tonight for a 4-game series. The Yankees back home for a 3-game homestand against the Blue Jays. The Knicks retook their lead in the best-of-7 first-round series. They held off the Pistons 118 to 116. Karl Anthony Towns led all scorers with 31 points for the Knicks. Jalen Brunson chipped in with 30 points. They're 2-1. They visit the Pistons for Game 3 Sunday afternoon. And the NASCAR Cup Series is back. The field returns from the Easter break this Sunday for the Jack Links 500 at Classic Talladega Superway. Kyle Larson is coming off a big win in the Food City 500 and sits fourth in the standings. Christopher Bell is in third with a Cup Series best 3 victories, while William Byron and Denny Hamlin are first and second. Your WIBX news time is 7:12. I'm Megan Stone.
The other day, Davey, if you remember, we were going back and forth trying to figure out if the Anthony Trump, who is up for a President Trump job at Herkimer College, was actually related to Donald Trump. And turns out he is a part of the Trump family, right?
I believe so.
That's what you reported on. So
he's going to make Herkimer County Community College great again.
They'll go from green and yellow to red and white will be the colors. And Donna this morning says, next time the sheriff comes in, ask him, when you come off 12, I was trying to figure this out, Donna, and I think as long as I started out this morning complaining about highway traffic, here we go. When you come off 12 at French Road, so you're in that area where you would go, you've come off the exit, you're going, this is where you would be, I guess it's either way.
Over by IHOP and Home Depot?
Over by Home Depot, so it's whether you're coming from the west or the east, you end up in the same place. And as you come up, you can go into the one lane, which will go straight and around, so you can go over to Home Depot. The right lane is also a straight or a turn, but there's an arrow there. And she says, if I'm going straight and I'm in that lane, I'm in the right lane, the light turns green and I've got some piece of garbage behind me honking their horn because I'm not going. So then they drive around on the right-hand shoulder. They'll drive around all angry, and they'll do their right on red or follow the green arrow. Shouldn't there be, she says, another lane there? Because people are using it as a lane anyway, the side of the road. Shouldn't there be another lane there for the green arrow? Otherwise, it's creating road rage situations. She said if they actually parked a patrol car over there, they'd be able to write plenty of tickets as people are going off the road in order to turn right.
But the thing about as soon as the light turns green, you can't go past the green. You can't go across the light immediately because there's people blowing past the red every single time.
Well, that's not what this is. This is a green arrow to turn right.
Oh, okay.
So you still have a red light.
Mm-hmm.
You can't go forward because you're going straight, and the lane is either straight or turn.
Gotcha.
But when the light turns green, you aren't going right because you're not going right. You're actually going straight and to the left. So the people behind are like, why aren't you going? There's a green light. You got a green arrow. What the hell's wrong with you? That's where this is all coming from.
Gotcha. Okay, I see.
And Joe this morning says those who are on services will have the entire birth paid for, and ultimately we'll be paying for it. This bonus to have a baby just doesn't make any sense to me anyway, but maybe I'm ignorant. I could be. I probably am. I've been called it a few times. Coming up, we have an expert from Fox News Radio who's at the Vatican talking about the conclave process and what's going to be happening going forward when they select a new pope. And we'll get into that. Hobica's free money question of the day. Davey, we're looking at $200. We had a $300 winner yesterday. $200 on the line. And at about 7:40 this morning, we're going to speak with Melissa Schwartz. She is the attorney for Caitlin Conley. She handled her appeal. What's going to happen next? The DA is saying they're going to take a case to the grand jury. Will she handle that case, and what's her opinion on all of it? With Caitlin Conley. We'll get to that coming up at 7:40. All this hour here at WIBX.
Celebrate Amerique Credit Union's 75th anniversary with an extra 0.75% off your auto and rec loans. Apply today at amerique.org/loan sale. Celebrate Amerique Credit Union's 75th anniversary with an extra 0.75% off your new or used auto, motorcycle, boat, or recreational vehicle loan. Offer valid for a limited time. Apply today at amerique.org/loan sale.
Attention vendors, crafters, and collectors. Looking for a perfect place to sell your goods and reach thousands of eager shoppers? It's the world's largest yard sale happening again this year at the Herkimer County Fairgrounds, June 14th. It's the ultimate selling opportunity. No more setting up signs, hoping for traffic, or dealing with no-shows. At the world's largest yard sale, thousands of shoppers come ready to buy. Whether you sell antiques, collectibles, handmade crafts, vintage clothing, or secondhand treasures, this is the place to be. But hurry, booth spaces are filling up fast. Secure yours today and get ready to turn your inventory into instant cash. It's the world's largest yard sale at the Herkimer County Fairgrounds, June 14th. Featuring the jazz sounds of the Dovetones. For vendor info and booth reservations, visit the events page on this station's website. Don't wait, this event is too big to miss. Sponsored by the Potting Shed Antiques, John's Mobile Homes and Accessories, Standard Heating, Cooling, and Insulating, Clinton Tractor and Implement Company, and James Mitsubishi.
Don't miss Clinton Tractor Spring Sales Event. We're giving you the best deals of the season on all of our inventory. Thousands of used and new equipment in stock, all in one location. Get 0% financing on new Ferris commercial mowers, Massey Ferguson, and New Holland equipment. And trailers and used equipment as low as 5.49%. Restrictions apply. We're giving you the best deals of the season. It's Clinton Tractor Spring Sales Event.
We are the leader in service, Clinton Tractor.
ClintonTractor.net.
Millions of Americans take medicine like Ozempic and Zepbound. Many of them are overpaying by thousands of dollars a year. These GLP-1 medications for diabetes, weight loss, and more may not always be covered by your insurance, but GoodRx can help. GoodRx helps you save every month on prescriptions at over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide. Best of all, it's free to use. Check GoodRx to save on GLP-1s. Just go to GoodRx.com/GLP. That's GoodRx.com/GLP. GoodRx is not insurance but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-885-5995. 800-885-5995. 800-885-5995.
Jay Cannell with Blues here of the Blues Brothers of Central New York, here at the Rome Capitol Theater, preparing for the CNY Onstage Live event.
And this event is going to be bigger than ever. It's showtime for 18 incredible acts on Saturday, May 10th at 7. Magicians, comedians, musicians, and Showtime the Band with special guests. CNY Onstage Live at the Capitol Theater, Saturday, May 10th at 7. Tickets on sale now.
The cost of everything is up these days, and let's face it, you've been dreaming of a nice payday. Well, your prayers are being answered with Win Keeler's Cash. Win Keeler's Cash is back, and we're giving away even more money every weekday at the top of the hour, every hour from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Listen for the cash code and enter it on WIBX950.com. Every entry brings you closer to winning the $1,000 daily prize and puts you in the running to be a $10,000 lucky winner. Win Keeler's Cash on WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
This is Keeler in the Morning. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Okay, the official copy of the Keeler in the Morning radio program is Daylight Donuts in New Hartford. And, of course, you can try that new egg white frittata sandwich on a bagel, on an English muffin, or a croissant. Those are made fresh every single day. The coffee is Seattle's best, and it is delicious. It's Daylight Donuts in the village of New Hartford, a speedy drive-thru. You're in, you're out, and you're on your way. By the way, we just heard from Dan. Hello, Dan. I have not heard from Dan in a long time. And he said he was actually on the hiring committee at Herkimer, Davy, and Anthony Trump is no relation to Donald Trump.
Yeah, he was on the search committee for the president's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how this went down, Megan, is yesterday we were talking about it and didn't know. You thought we knew and included it in the news story, and turns out no relation. Although that is a unique name to have, right?
Yes, and he also came from Ocean County, so it's interesting. But, I'm sure he's either using the name to be like, no relation, or just letting the rumor mill fly.
Yeah. So we lost our guy, apparently.
Oh, no.
We were doing a little housekeeping, and he had to go. See if he calls back, Davey. Anyway, I did get the pronunciation of his name. It's Pinero, talking about the procedure, what's going to happen when it comes to the conclave process, which, tomorrow morning, we can tell you what we do know is tomorrow morning at 4 a.m. is when the funeral will begin, and it's 4 a.m. our time. And then from there, we can really expect to see maybe another 10 days, maybe by the 5th or 7th of May, they're saying somewhere there, but possibly earlier. You never know. The Cardinals will decide to move forward and move on with the conclave. And that is an interesting process on its own. So there's going to be a lot of this that you're going to see on TV over the weekend if you're watching any of it. It'll be happening. All right, we're not getting them. We'll do Habaika's free money question of the day coming up in a few minutes. It'll be worth $200 this morning, and yesterday with a $300 winner. Pretty big day right there. Awesome. I got a bunch more to get to. An 18-year-old girl named Victoria Hoffman asked social media for feedback on her prom dress. And people didn't just give Victoria a vote of confidence. They also, believe it or not, I don't know if they felt bad when they saw the pictures or they just felt bad in general. They all started to send her money. She says she got enough to cover prom, graduation, and even pay for her EMT training. Here is Victoria thanking everybody for, out of nowhere, just giving her cash.
Thank you so much, everybody. I've literally been crying for the past day and a half because everyone's being so nice, and my little sister is so excited because I get to go to prom, and I get to have a dress, and my nails are going to be done.
I would give her money to stop talking.
Oh, I thought it was very sweet.
Yes, me too. Me too.
I think it's
really
just
sweet.
Prom has really morphed into a pseudo wedding for many people, especially with promposals. It's become like the single most defining moment of your high school career, which I find a little strange.
And expensive, right?
Very expensive now. Absolutely.
Today is National Telephone Day. Since it is National Telephone Day, I have a 1936 newsreel by AT&T explaining how to use, which, to be honest with you, would be something a bit useful today. If you were to take a 15-year-old and hand them a rotary dial telephone, they would ask you what to do with it. This features a young girl during the demonstration while an announcer explains how to recognize the different sounds it would make. Keep in mind, when this actually aired, WIBX was 9 years old. Here's the audio.
The telephones in this city will be changed to dial service, and all telephone numbers will be changed. Before calling any number, first secure the number from your new directory. Then remove the receiver and listen for the dial tone. It sounds like this. With the receiver off the hook, dial the desired number. Be sure to allow the dial to freely return to its normal position. And this is the ringing signal. If the line is busy, you'll hear this busy signal.
I wonder how many lines were busy back then. Probably not that many, right? Because there weren't that many people using telephones in the beginning.
But, Bill, I grew up on rotary phones.
You did?
I did. My mom was a big antiquer, and I remember we still have it in the kitchen, and you would pick it up off the hook and do the dial. And my parents had it high up, so they would have to dial for me if I wanted to call any friends.
Probably a good move, right?
It was a very good move.
Website made a list of the dirtiest cities in America based on sanitation complaints. We've heard over in the last 5 years, 10 years, a few of those here. Baltimore turns out to be the dirtiest. Milwaukee ended up being the cleanest. Surprisingly, New York City is in the middle of the pack.
Really?
And
Baltimore is dirtier than New York City?
They are doing a mandatory composting, or at least trying to in New York City. And I wonder how you do that. How would you do that if you're in an apartment building? How do you compost? And how doesn't a composting in an apartment building attract rats?
I could actually talk about that.
Okay. Oh, I can't wait.
Because
I'm ready to give advice to my daughter.
I lived in New York City, so what we did is we would compost, but we would have the bag in the freezer. So all, odds and ends of fruit, vegetables, meats that you never used, you put it in a bag in the freezer. And then during the farmer's market, they had these big bins, these big green bins that you would take
brought your frozen bag.
Exactly. And you just chuck it in and there you go.
I love it. Well, there you go. A grown woman in Oklahoma was arrested for giving a 16-year-old co-worker a marijuana edible. They were working at a Sonic at the time, and the girl had the edibles can have very unique reactions, right?
I'm sure.
They can send people off into crazy land. That's exactly what happened to this 16-year-old.
She was 16.
Sounds like the teen will be okay, but there was an arrest. Here's the officer talking about it.
She was throwing up, being sick from all the stuff she ingested. I was just kind of taken back a little bit about why did you give it to her or whatever. How did she end up with it? Because she asked for it. It's just zero responsibility for anything. Not only a 16-year-old, but also at a restaurant where they're going to be involved with people all day long, right? Something bad's going to happen no matter what.
She's going to have a conversation with her parents when she comes off that high.
I guess, yeah. And, of course, last night was the NFL draft. It will continue today with the second and third round picks. Davey, we've talked about it a little bit this morning, but you are quite happy with the pick by the Buffalo Bills. Something they can you hear what I'm saying? You can't. Okay.
Now I can.
The Bills pick.
Oh, Maxwell, yeah, he ran the fastest at the combine. They're going to fit him right in. The Bills need a cornerback, and he's going to do great.
I read this morning they'll be looking for maybe a receiver today. We'll see what comes out of today's second and third round picks.
But I will take the wise words of Mike, who we know very well.
Mike and Skyler.
No, Mike that texted you.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that Mike.
Yeah, that Mike, who's a big Bills fan. I think he is right about James Cook. They need to find another running back.
I hate to lose Cook because he is amazing.
Yeah.
But
especially this past year.
And it's worked out perfectly to take pressure off Josh Allen to be able to hand that ball off. And there are games he was just picking 8 and 10 yard chunks of yardage up each time. So to lose that would be, but it could happen.
But
he may be right.
He wants the money of one of the guaranteed to be one of the best running backs in the world, Bill, in the NFL.
Well, there you go. All right, coming up, Megan will give an update on the news, and then Habakkuk's free money question of the day. We're speaking with Melissa Schwartz, the attorney for Caitlin Conley, coming up in a few minutes. Yes, we've heard from the DA. They are planning to take the case to the grand jury again. What is her opinion on all that? We'll get to it coming up. First, though, Cordelia, before we break. Good morning, Cordelia in Rome. Good morning.
Good morning. You talk about the rotary phones. Well, the real hard part of it was that they had party lines.
I know that.
Yeah, you had 3 or 4 people on your party line, and if you had to make an important phone call, you had to get their permission to get off the phone.
Right. You'd say, excuse me, I have an emergency phone call, and then you'd have to get off. You're right. Those were crazy. Wow. I mean, you think about where we are today with all of the luxuries you have today and the cell phone sitting in your pocket. Back then, it was a completely different world.
And then I remember our first cell phone. It was this big...
the brick.
Yeah, it was like a brick. It was gray, and it was like a brick, and I had to have a bag to carry it in.
Yeah.
And then they put them into the phone cars, they call them, car phones.
Yeah.
And they were a big thing to put in. You might as well bring a regular radio in there.
Well, you remember that I had a car where there was actually it came installed, and the car phone, if you will, came installed. And you wouldn't take it into the house with you. It would always be in the car. And it almost like it was a stick shift coming off the floor. It was a stand where I would, and that phone you didn't take with you. It just stayed in the car. It was pretty wild. So.
Oh, yeah.
The way the world has changed. It's crazy.
Well, nothing big to talk about, but I just was kind of thinking about that. So I know our political world is in chaos right now, and our religious world's in chaos, so we're just hanging in there.
Well, you hang in there, Cordelia. Thank you for the call.
Praying that we elect a cool new pope.
Thank you. Have a great day, Cordelia.
Okay.
Quick break, and we'll do news, and then Davey.
Did you remember when we first worked in radio? I don't know. We had it here. Did you have the bag phone when we had to do remotes?
We did. I parachuted with a bag phone duct tape to.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Are you serious?
It was a pretty cool event. I have it on videotape at home.
I want to watch that.
Somewhere. Got a break. Hold on tight at WIBX.
Looking for an insurance agency that treats you like family? Look no further than WB Payne Insurance, a family-owned and operated agency serving the community for over 65 years. At WB Payne Insurance, they understand that family comes first, and they're here to protect what matters most to you. Whether it's your home, your car, or your business, they've got you covered. WB Payne Insurance. Learn more or get a quote today by visiting WBPayneco.com. WB Payne Insurance, protecting your family like it's their own, with smart solutions to save you money.
Country rock trailblazer Brantley Gilbert, the Tattoos Tour 2025. Adirondack Bank Center, Friday, April 25th, with special guests Travis Denning and Peyton Smith. Get tickets now at EmpireStateTix.com. The brand new album Tattoos is available everywhere. For more, visit BrantleyGilbert.com. Produced by Pepper Entertainment.
This station is brought to you by John's Mobile Home Parts and Accessories in Oriskany Falls. For all your mobile home needs, it's worth the trip. Visit johnsmobilehomeparts.com for more info.
Good morning. WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM news time is 7:33. I'm Megan Stone with your news update brought to you by John's Mobile Home Parts and Accessories in Oriskany Falls. For all your mobile home needs, it's worth the trip. Visit johnsmobilehomeparts.com for more info. Currently 54 degrees outside under cloudy skies. Your full weather forecast is coming up next. Westmoreland residents in the Tyndall Water District are under a boil water advisory following a water main break on East South Street. Town of Westmoreland officials say the break has been repaired, but advise residents to continue boiling their water. The advisory will be in effect until at least 5 p.m. tomorrow. The Erie County Legislature has passed a resolution opposing wind turbines. Legislators say the turbines could impact human and wildlife habitats that depend on the lake, as well as negatively impact residents overall. Erie County Legislator John Mills said they've been fighting this effort for the better part of 15 years, and that their Great Lakes are New York's most treasured asset. Authorities have made an arrest in connection with the massive New Jersey wildfire that's still spreading in Ocean County. The Ocean County Prosecutor's Office accuses Joseph Kling of Waretown of arson. They alleged he failed to properly put out a bonfire. Police said he started the fire with wooden pallets and then left the area without the fire being fully extinguished. The fire, which started on Tuesday, has chewed up more than 15,000 acres and could end up being one of the largest in New Jersey in 20 years. And former New York Congressman George Santos says he expects to receive the maximum prison sentence on Friday. Santos pleaded guilty to wire fraud and aggravated identity theft and admitted he stole from campaign donors and lied about it to Congress. One day before his sentencing, Santos told reporters he expects the maximum 87-month prison sentence to be handed down, adding he's totally resigned to being in prison for over 7 years. Meanwhile, Santos's attorneys are hoping for a lighter 2-year term behind bars. Your WIBX news time is 7:35. Here is your full Weather Center forecast.
Expect some clouds on this Friday. There may be a shower popping up later today with a high of 76. Rain will increase tonight with a low of 57. And you're ready to face some showers if you're going to be out about during the weekend with a high near 65 Saturday, then a cooler Sunday with a high topping out in the mid to upper 50s. I'm Jeff Marr at the Weather Channel on WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Currently, it is 54 degrees and cloudy outside. WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM. I'm Megan Stone.
Davey, looking for caller number what here for Habaika's free money question of the day?
Caller 4.
Fourth caller right now at 315-736-0186. Caller 4, your chance at $200 right now at WIBX.
The Potting Shed Antiques in Whitesboro is buying silver, gold, gold-filled, vintage costume, estate jewelry, and U.S. and Canadian coins. They've been your hometown buyer for over 50 years. While other gold and silver buyers claim to offer the highest prices, the Potting Shed Antiques actually delivers. Let Don Hartman take a look at your individual pieces or your entire collection. The Potting Shed Antiques, open Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. Please call ahead for an appointment. Visit thepottingshedantiques.com. BME Company Business Machines and Equipment has been delivering office solutions for businesses in upstate New York for over 30 years. Their success comes from finding the right document management strategies and software solutions for streamlining workflows. Simply put, BME provides fast, reliable service at the best value to keep your business running smoothly. Through BME's strategic partnership with Hummel's Office Plus, they distribute supplies for just about every machine in your office at a great price. BME welcomes the opportunity to serve your business, selling, leasing, and servicing Canon and Kyocera devices, as well as FP mailing solutions. An important part of BME's culture is supporting the communities they're fortunate to work in, and BME recognizes that support is one reason for their success. The future of business in BME's area is encouraging, and the company is grateful to be a part of that growth. Call BME Company at 315-574-8200 or visit BMEcompany.com. BME Company Office Solutions. Made simple.
Only a few more days to save during Tucker Backyard Pools and Spa's annual chemical sale. Now through April 30th. Stop by our one-of-a-kind showroom located at 8086 Seneca Turnpike and save 15% on all in-stock pool and spa chemicals. It's the biggest savings of the year when it comes to your pool and spa chemicals. Now through April 30th. Don't have a pool or spa? Let us help complete your buying experience with our fully functional pool and spa display. Or use our interactive showroom and design the pool or spa of your dreams. Interact, design, review, and save with Tucker Backyard. Come visit us now till the end of April for our annual chemical sale with 15% off chemicals in stock. Only a few more days to save during Tucker Backyard Pools and Spa's annual chemical sale. 15% off chemicals in stock. Now through April 30th, we bring the fun to your backyard. Tucker Backyard Pools and Spas. 8086 Seneca Turnpike, Clinton, 1 mile west from the Big Apple Plaza. Online at tuckerbackyard.com.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? When it comes to Big Wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular to get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and now for a limited time, new customers can get their second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit a store near you, or consumercellular.com and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
WIBX. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
Okay, here we go. It's the Habaika Law Firm's free money question of the day. Joseph and Andrew Habaika, 315-724-1600. For all of your legal needs, call them today. Are you calling her, Davey, or she's calling us? Okay, got it. Coming up, we'll speak with Melissa Schwartz, the attorney for Caitlin Connolly. We know that this is going back to the grand jury for another time, potentially a third trial. What does her attorney have to say? We'll speak with Melissa Schwartz coming up in a few minutes. Fred is in Richfield Springs right now. Hello, Fred. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Bill.
How you doing?
I'm okay.
All right. Are you headed to work? Are you headed somewhere? What's going on?
I am driving from Cooperstown to Oneonta.
Okay. All right. That's a trip.
To go to work, yes.
All right.
Go to work, yeah.
All right. Well, listen, this is your chance at $200. Yesterday we had a $300 winner. You're going to have 7 seconds to answer. Are you ready to go?
Yes, sir.
All right. Here is I got to make sure everything's up. Here's your question. This artist's debut single was called Love Myself. Who is the artist? Ready, go.
Michael Jackson. I'm just guessing.
Was it Michael Jackson? It was not. We've been talking about it, and I think I might have, I don't know if I dreamed that I read a story about Josh Allen and Haley Steinfeld getting married, but I saw it. She was in a wedding gown, but I can't find it anywhere. Indeed's in New Hartford is saying, I don't think they got married, and maybe they didn't.
There's rumors, but now.
Maybe I dreamed it. Haley Steinfeld's first single, she's not only an actress, but is a singer. Her first single was in 2015 called Love Myself.
She's an awesome singer.
So we're going to give you the all-in-one food and fun card. You'll have to come to Utica for that. But stand by, Fred. We're going to give you to Davey, and he's going to hook you up.
Thank you so much.
All right, drive safely on your trip to Oneonta. All right.
Thank
you. Fun and have a good weekend.
Hold on a second. Speaking of having a good weekend, it looks like we're going to warm up today. Mm-hmm. Okay, Davey. It looks like we're going to warm up today, and then we might even hit 80, although Richard is yelling about my prediction on temperatures. And then the weekend in the 60s, but then it warms up again next weekend, or next week and through the week.
I'm looking forward to that so much. I had my windows open yesterday, Bill. It was great. Just getting out all that musty inside air.
Richard says yesterday's high was 75. I said 74, not 80 like some guy on the radio you said. First of all, I didn't say...
He's obsessing over you.
I did not say it was going to be 80. I said we're going to creep up near 80 today and in the low 80s by tomorrow, which is today. I don't know. I thought I had 77 yesterday, but it did cool off pretty quickly later on in the day. But what a beautiful day it was. I loved every bit of it.
Had my windows open last night. Perfect.
So, Richard, my apologies if I got the temperature up by a degree or two. He says this weekend will be a washout all weekend long, straight through Sunday. I hope not. I'd like to do some stuff outside. But nonetheless, I'll take this over a couple of weekends ago. Hard to believe. A couple of weekends ago, we were dealing with blustery snow conditions.
I know.
Just a couple of weeks ago.
And hopefully Old Man Winter has gone the way of the dodo, but you know how everybody is saying, we can't relax yet. We have to get past Mother's Day.
So Haley Steinfeld, American actress and singer, her first song, as we said, was in Transformers, the Transformers movie Bumblebee. In 2015, she released her debut single called Love Myself. It was her. And somewhere, I don't know if it was an AI photo, but it showed a picture of her in a wedding gown, Josh Allen in a tuxedo, and it said the two were secretly married. And it turns out I've been spoofed. It's
You've been bamboozled.
I can't find it anywhere else.
Okay.
Anywhere.
The wedding is set for May 31st. Thank you to Darlene from writing in all the way from Secoit.
Actually, thank you, Samantha, for helping me because I'm feeling like I maybe dreamed it. But no, here it is. Samantha Colosimo Testa. She said, I saw it too. Guess it's fake news. And here are photos. Hot news. Secret wedding. Haley Steinfeld's father holds daughter's hand, sends emotional message and secret gift to couple. Josh Allen and Haley Steinfeld marry.
Isn't that crazy how
and
AI...
It is not true. That's awesome.
It's
not that it's a big deal, but I just kind of threw it out there as an aside this morning, and turns out it's fake news.
To me, it just says how much more of a threat AI is going to be, and how much harder it's going to make our job.
Right, you're right. Melissa Schwartz is the attorney for Caitlin Connolly, and handled her case during her appeal, and of course, successful appeal as she was set free based on a technicality, one that was actually discovered by Caitlin Connolly. Melissa Schwartz, good morning. Thank you so much for coming on.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. Tell me if you, first of all, your thoughts on the DA in Oneida County, their decision to take this to a grand jury again.
I obviously disagree with that decision, but that's a decision for the DA of Oneida to make, and I'm a professional, so I'll let him do his job and I'll do mine.
So what is your job here? They say it's pretty easy to indict someone. Have you had conversations with Caitlin? Will you be handling the case if it goes to trial?
Yeah, so I've been retained to represent her for whatever this stage looks or doesn't look like, depending on what the grand jury does. And I have co-counsel who I've worked on a couple pretty big cases with, Dave Hammond. He's also out of Syracuse, a different firm. He's going to be co-counsel to me.
Okay. What are your thoughts? We've heard everything from everything is fair game in this trial to there are a lot of things that will not be admissible in this case. What are your thoughts on that, and what's your knowledge?
Everything is fair game is, what a dangerous game of legal roulette to play.
Yeah.
That as somebody who's been on the other side, counseling the DA in Syracuse, Bill Fitzpatrick, on what legal issues aren't worth it. That would be a legal roulette that wouldn't end up favorably for them. I think there's a lot of evidence that they're not going to be able to present for various legal reasons that I won't disclose right now because, no one's showing me their hand, so I'm not going to show mine. But the idea that everything's fair game, just legally completely incorrect. And the appellate division won't look kindly upon that type of disregard of what their clear directive is.
Yeah.
What remains and what's left, that's for, the DA and I to figure out if they're able to get an indictment for her.
One of the key pieces of evidence that we know exists against Caitlin Connolly is you may not even choose to answer this, but I'll ask it anyway. One of the key pieces of evidence is the cell phone, and her searches. There are things in there that seem to be somewhat damning, I guess, or that's the opinion of the prosecution. It certainly was. At the same time, it seemed that her boyfriend, the son of Mary Yoder, had complete access to her computer and to her cell phone. Doesn't that play a role in what he could have done with that access?
Certainly, and I think that was a big part of the first two trials, and likely one of the reasons why they were unable to obtain, a conviction on the top count, a hung jury, and then a not guilty on the murder. So, yeah, I think that definitely plays a role.
How have you talked to Caitlin? I'm sure you have. And how are her spirits? Obviously, she's got to be happy that she's out, but potentially facing this all over again, her and her family.
Yeah, obviously this isn't the best news for Katie to hear or for, her lovely parents to hear. But she's been fighting this for almost 10 years now, and she'll continue to fight it.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on finding a jury? We had one attorney say it will be very difficult to find a jury in Oneida County that hasn't formed a conclusion on this case. Your thoughts on that, and does that mean there may be a possible change in venue?
So if this gets indicted and the person they indict is Katie, we all know that the Oneida County Court judges aren't able to handle this case, so we're going to have an outside judge. The question is whether or not this entire case moves to that county. The law on that is difficult for criminal defendants to overcome a lot of the time until you've actually selected a jury or attempted to select a jury. An application to change venue would be premature. That's usually what you see from the appellate division. When I was on the other side, I've been involved in a case that was tried twice that was extremely high profile, Dr. Newlander, if anybody remembers him.
Oh, yeah.
And, the change of venue didn't really go anywhere on that case, and it was equally as high profile. that'll be a strategic decision. I have to look at everything. I've got to look at comments that are written on papers and kind of get something together. But usually the law on that is not favorable to criminal defendants.
Yeah. I am interested. I mean, it is interesting when you, because the reality is, in this day and age, it's almost impossible to find a jury that's never heard about a story or heard about a case. And we have to rely on people as being jurors who can be independent, can say, I'm going to wipe the slate clean here, and I'm going to listen, and I'm going to listen to the evidence and form no conclusion in advance. That's really what you look for in a juror, right?
Yeah, I mean, from a legal standpoint, it's I can't say what's going to happen. From a practical standpoint, and somebody that's obviously, again, Bob Newlander got the new trial because of the juror issue. And the only reason that came out was because the DA's office agreed to not fight taking the juror's cell phone and cell-brighting it. So, and that was a pretty extreme measure at the time. It was seen as an extreme measure. But to figure out that somebody's lying, a juror's lying about not knowing something about the case, not texting something about the case, it's almost impossible for us to do. So whether that juror will be fair, I think it's impossible. I think the jury system is flawed. I think anybody in the criminal justice system would say that it's a flawed process. But, we try our best. I think there's ways to in this type of case, to bring in jurors independently, give us a chance to, myself and the DA's office, if it goes this far, to really, flesh out what they know and what they don't know in a setting that's more comfortable than being in a room with everybody. But we'll see what ends up happening in that regard.
We're speaking with Melissa Schwartz. She is the current attorney and would be the attorney if this case goes forward for Caitlin Connolly in an unprecedented third trial moving forward. Somebody asking, how is Katie able to fund this trial? It has been a huge burden, financial burden on her family. How's she able to, if you can answer that?
I can't answer that. I'm sorry.
Okay. Fair enough. I didn't think you could, but I thought I'd ask anyway. Sometimes you never know when you ask a question, right? You just never know.
Yeah.
And then what about where we are today versus where we were when it comes to sentencing? And, it seems that people just don't go to jail. I know that's not true in New York, but we just constantly hear the stories of people being released on an appearance ticket. And at the end of the day, we are more lenient today than we used to be when it comes to sentencing. And she's already done 7 or almost 8 years in prison. What about the thought that this community has had enough? She's done her time, and we've had enough. What are your thoughts?
If you're a member of the community and you feel that way, community members should always reach out to their district attorney and give them their thoughts on cases and what the community hopes for and wants. He has a job to do, and that job is what he believes is justice, whether that's right or wrong from a different position. But, reach out to him, tell him how you feel. These are very costly, these types of things for taxpayers. But, I think that's a question that's probably better suited for the DA.
What about from your, as a defense attorney, a more lenient criminal justice system that we seem to have today in New York?
Are you talking about this case or in general?
I'm talking about in general. I think it applies to this case, and that's why I'm asking. But, if you ask the average person, we aren't as tough on criminals in New York State.
Yeah, soft on crime.
As we used to be. And, it's how many years later? It's 8 years later. How would that apply to potentially the fact that she's already done 8 years?
Yeah, I mean, in general, I obviously disagree with the soft on crime term. I think, we're a little bit more empathetic to people's backgrounds. I think that comes into play a lot more than it used to. What causes people to commit certain crimes, what pushes them there, what opportunities did they have that maybe or didn't have, and that comes into play. And I think that's very, very important in the criminal justice system. As somebody who's been on both sides, right? I'm not somebody who thinks everybody is innocent or everybody, people shouldn't go to prison. That's not my ideology whatsoever. But as somebody who's represented a lot of people, I can tell you there's good in 99.99% of all people that commit crimes. Good people that have, done bad things or had different choices than I've had in my life. And so I think that comes to play in all cases. Will that come into play in this case? That's not something I'm willing to talk about right now because that implies, Katie's willing to accept responsibility for this.
Right. And then Megan, go ahead.
And Attorney Schwartz, we touched about this earlier in our conversation, but based on your expertise and you stepping back and looking at it from a 360 degrees, why do you think this is going back for a third time? Is it a third time's the charm kind of mentality? I would like to hear your professional opinion about this.
I don't know, right? That's a decision for the DA to make and for his lead prosecutor to make. They see it differently than I probably see it. They probably see the legal issues ahead of them differently than I see those issues. I don't know, right? I don't know why prosecutors make certain decisions. I know why, cases that I was involved in on the other side, of course, I know the decision-making that goes into that. What went into the decision-making here? I have no idea.
Yeah.
I've had one brief conversation with DA Carville.
Okay.
I want to ask you an unrelated, and I really mean this is unrelated, question. Just looking for your opinion. I promise it's unrelated. Right now in the New York State Legislature, and I have 1 minute, the legislature is arguing over disclosure. And, there's one side saying the DA's office just can't handle all of the paperwork, and therefore people are being let off on technicalities. As a defense attorney who's been on the other side, are we in a good place right now? Do there need to be changes? Did they go too far with disclosure? What are your thoughts?
I came from a DA's office that always had an open file policy, always, for the last 10 years. Bill Fitzpatrick would always, first thing we would do when a case would come in, he'd say, hand over the entire file, copy the entire file. So I came from a place that wasn't withholding things. As a defense attorney, I've dealt with counties that, before discovery of reform were not showing you anything and then offering you a deal before your client's indicting and saying, does he want to take this deal? And you've seen not a shred of evidence. That's why we're in this situation right now, is because of those DA's offices that didn't want to play fair. As a defense attorney, of course, I love the discovery as it is right now.
Yes, right,
I do think it's been overburdening DA's offices. I do. But, sometimes to make things fair, it has to go one way. And I'll tell you this, it used to go the other way very favorably for them.
Right. And I guess if you look at the American judicial system, if it's going to be an advantage on either side, it really should be on the defense.
Correct.
All right. Listen, I appreciate you tolerating me. I'll just say that.
You're tolerating. I find you to be very lovely.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. And we love having you on, and hope you'll come back, and we can, as we get closer, we can talk to you again.
Sounds good. Have a good day.
Thanks so much. You too. This morning, I've been called lovely. I love that. Melissa Schwartz, attorney for Caitlin Connolly. And for the record, the DA says they feel they owe it to the Yoder family to move forward. So there you have it. News is next.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX Utica, Rome, W295EI, WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, a Town Square media station.
Vladimir did not stop. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. The day after President Trump urged Russia's leader to stop attacking Ukraine following a deadly drone and missile barrage in the capital, Kyiv, another drone strike in Ukraine left 3 people dead.
It's a killing field. 5,000 soldiers a week on average. And we want to stop that.
Fox's Rich Edson reports from the White House.
There are major negotiations underway to try to end the war in Ukraine. President Trump says we will know if they are successful in the next week or 2. With that, the president's special envoy, Steve Witkoff, he's in Moscow, scheduled to meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin this afternoon. The president is pushing both sides to reach an agreement.
Now, there was also an attack near Moscow today. Russian officials say a car bombing killed a senior military officer, a lieutenant general. President Trump planning to leave this hour to go to Rome to join world leaders for Pope Francis's funeral early tomorrow morning. Right now, people are lined up again at the Vatican on the third and final day of viewing the Pope inside a casket at St. Peter's Basilica.
Being near in Pope, it's like he's part of my family.
She's among the well over 100,000 people who have paid their last respects to the Pope so far. More legal setbacks for President Trump. Several federal judges ruled in favor of challenges to several of his executive actions. One of them blocks his effort to compel states to get proof of citizenship for voters in federal elections.
Meantime, another judge in California blocked the Trump administration from stripping federal funds for sanctuary cities, saying the action would irreparably hurt these cities and counties. And finally, a Maryland judge ordered the government to bring back another man who was deported to El Salvador.
That's Fox's Madeline Rivera. In that case, the man deported came to the U.S. illegally as an unaccompanied minor, and the judge ruled his asylum claim should have been processed first. As the Trump administration is also under legal pressure to bring Kilmar Abrego Garcia back for a mistaken deportation, but they insist he is a gang member. America's listening to Fox News.
All of us need to be prepared to defend ourselves and our families, and we need to start with the less lethal option to avoid the legal complications associated with firearms. Byrna has their less lethal pistol launcher. It is equipped with tear gas and kinetic ammunition. It is designed to incapacitate any attacker for up to 40 minutes. Go to their website, byrna.com/Hannity. Right now, you'll get 10% off. Let me tell you this Byrna story. Bob was at home. An intruder physically forced his way inside. Now, luckily, Bob had just received his Byrna 4 days prior to this incident, and he used it to get the man outside and off of his property. Byrna, it's legal in all 50 states. There's no background check needed. It can be shipped directly to your door. Now, see the powerful technology that is Byrna. Go to their website, byrna.com/Hannity. Right now, you'll get 10% off. That's byrna.com/Hannity today.
While President Trump keeps trying to work out a peace deal to stop Russia's war in Ukraine, there's a new Fox News poll.
Right now, 40% of voters like President Trump's foreign policy. 54% do not. This poll also finds Americans' support for Ukraine is waning, with 44% saying our backing should be limited. That's down from 48% in January. Those who say our support of Ukraine should last as long as it takes is at 41%. That's down from 47% 3 months ago. Elsewhere globally, Iran's nuclear capabilities and trade with China each concern 66% of voters. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
Firefighters in New Jersey keep trying to put out a wildfire that has burned more than 15,000 acres, prompting air quality alerts.
So they blame it on a teenager who they say lit wooden pallets on fire and then left without properly extinguishing that fire.
Fox's Nate Foy in Ocean County, where that 19-year-old Joseph Kling is facing arson charges. On Wall Street, after 3 straight days of big gains, stock futures are falling, nearly 200 points for the Dow. The NFL went prime time last night as teams picked new players.
With the first pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Tennessee Titans select Cameron Ward, quarterback, Miami.
And that started round 1 of the draft on ESPN. Heisman Trophy winner Travis Hunter went second to Jacksonville. The Jaguars traded draft picks to Cleveland to move up to get the Colorado star, who plays offense and defense. The New York Giants drafted Penn State defensive end Abdul Carter third, and then made a trade with Houston to pick Mississippi quarterback Jackson Dart in the 25th pick. Another star quarterback, Shedeur Sanders, out of Colorado, went undrafted last night. Rounds 2 and 3 are tonight. In the NBA playoffs, Oklahoma City, New York, and the LA Clippers were winners last night. I'm Dave Anthony. This is Fox News.
Good morning. WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM news time is 8:05. I'm Megan Stone with your news update, brought to you by the new destination Kia of Utica, Commercial Drive in Yorkville. Currently 56 degrees outside under cloudy skies. Your full weather forecast and your weekend outlook is coming up next. Two Utica men face multiple weapons charges. According to Utica police, officers stopped two men as part of an effort to curb gun violence in the city. Officers conducted a pat-down and located a loaded handgun in one of the men's waistbands. Police found another handgun on the second man, which was found in a bag around his chest. Police arrested 20-year-old Rashim Love and 18-year-old Giselle Hunt. Both face numerous charges, including criminal possession of a weapon in the second and third degree, both of which are felonies. Hunt, the 18-year-old, faces additional felony charges for having a prior conviction. No charges have been filed yet in connection with a road rage incident in Syracuse that left a man dead. Police say 61-year-old Azell Hicks Jr. and another man were involved in a dispute in the area of West Fayette Street and Southwest Street Wednesday. Things escalated to the point where Hicks was shot in the head after going up to the man's vehicle with a knife. Police have surveillance video showing what happened, and the case is being reviewed by a grand jury. Westmoreland residents in the Tyndall Water District are under a boil water advisory following a water main break on East South Street. Town of Westmoreland officials say the break has been repaired, but advise residents to continue boiling their water. This advisory will be in effect until at least 5 p.m. tomorrow. And a New York man is facing charges after allegedly hiding his role in the 1994 Rwandan genocide on his applications for a green card and U.S. citizenship. The 65-year-old has been living on Long Island for more than 20 years after applying for refugee resettlement, working as a gardener and beekeeper. But federal prosecutors say he lied to the government and, in fact, was actively involved as a local leader in the genocide against the ethnic minority Tutsi that claimed more than 800,000 lives in 100 days. He was convicted of genocide in absentia in Rwanda. Now he's charged with visa fraud and attempted naturalization fraud and faces 30 years in prison if convicted. Your WIBX News Time is 8:07. Here is your full Weather Center forecast.
Expect some clouds on this Friday. There may be a shower popping up later today with a high of 76. Rain will increase tonight with a low of 57. And get ready to face some showers if you're going to be out about during the weekend with a high near 65 Saturday. Then a cooler Sunday with a high topping out in the mid to upper 50s. I'm Jeff Marr at the Weather Channel on WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Right now, it is 56 outside and cloudy. Now, let's take a look at sports, brought to you by the IBEW 43 Local Sports Desk. The first round of the 2025 NFL Draft, it's in the books. The Giants stayed at number 3 to take Penn State defensive end Abdul Carter and traded back up to number 25 with the Texans to take Ole Miss quarterback Jackson Dart. The Jets selected Missouri offensive tackle Armand Membo with the 7th overall pick. The Jets have picks 42 and 73. The G-men have the 76th pick when the second and third rounds of the draft are tonight. The Bills, they added some help to their secondary last night. Buffalo selected Kentucky cornerback Maxwell Hairston with the 30th overall pick in the first round of the NFL Draft. Our comments on YouTube are praising the selection because they say Hairston was seen hyping up everybody in the green room and giving high fives, so he'll be a good fit with the Buffalo Bills. Hairston ran the fastest 40-yard dash of anyone at the Combine, clocking in at 4.28 seconds. And the Titans, they selected Cam Ward with the first overall pick in the draft. The Jags traded up to number 2 with the Browns to select Heisman Trophy winner Travis Hunter. Rounds 2 and 3 are tonight. The wait for Shadir Sanders, that continues today. The Colorado QB did not get selected in the first round of the NFL Draft. The Giants, Saints, and Steelers were considered ideal fits for the son of the Hall of Famer Deion Sanders. Shadir was expected to be a top 3 pick early in the draft process. The Mets take on the Nationals in a 4-game series starting tonight. The Yankees are back at home taking on the Blue Jays. They lead the AL East. The Knicks, they retook the lead in the best of 7 first-round series. They held off the Pistons 118-116 in Game 3. Karl Anthony Towns led all scorers, 31 points. Jalen Bronson chipped in with 30 points. The New York leads the series 2-1. They visit the Pistons for Game 3 on Sunday. And the NASCAR Cup Series It's back, baby. The field returns from the Easter break this Sunday for the Jack Links 500 at Classic Talladega Super Speedway. Kyle Larson is coming off a big win in the Food City 500 and sits fourth in the standings. Christopher Bell is in third with a Cup Series best, 3 victories, while William Byron and Denny Hamlin are first and second. Your WIBX news time is 8:10 on Megan Stone.
By the way, earlier talking about the big wedding between Josh Allen and Haley Steinfeld. Turns out, and thank you, Samantha Colosimo Testa, for sending me what I saw last night that I thought I maybe dreamed. Didn't happen. It's fake news. And they did a pretty good job on the photos of the wedding. But when you examine it, I believe it's Instagram is where it came from. When you examine the photos, in one photo she's wearing one dress, in another photo she's wearing another dress. In one photo, Josh Allen has a flower boutonniere. And the other, it's a different flower boutonniere. Mm-hmm. So there's some inconsistencies. You can clearly see where it's a fake picture, probably photoshopped. But done really, really well. A lot of people fell for it.
I feel like we've gotten so trained to see AI that we forget Photoshop exists.
Yeah. Steve Poney Mazda, Move to Mazda sales event is back. You can save on a new Mazda lease and enjoy zero. It's what Micah said yesterday. 0.9% APR financing is really good. New 2025 Mazda CX-30s, 5s, CX-50s, CX-70s, and CX-90s. These vehicles are beautiful. The Mazda has done a tremendous job in really upping their game, and you see a lot of Mazdas out on the road. See Ricky Z or anybody at the dealership for details on the lease deal. On the loan deal, 0.9% APR financing. Mazda finished 2024 with a 16.8% sales increase year over year, awarded more IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus awards than any other brand. As Rick says, come on down. You're the next contestant on Let's Make Your Deal at Steve Poney Mazda. Commercial Drive in Yorkville. If you're looking for masonry work, concrete work, nobody does concrete like Brank Construction. They'll repair stone walls. Their masonry work is pristine. Retainer walls, basement floors, foundation work, chimney work, from sidewalks to that amazing stairway they created with natural stone into our backyard, probably 10 years ago, maybe even longer than that. But they're clearly great, do masonry work that's just craftsmanship. They do a great job. Call them at Brank, 315-894-3481.
Celebrate AmeriQ Credit Union's 75th anniversary with an extra 0.75% off your auto and rec loans. Apply today at ameriq.org/loan sale.
The Rome Capitol Theater presents Alfred Hitchcock's suspense thriller Spellbound. Saturday, April 26 at 2:30 and 7, starring Ingrid Bergman and Gregory Peck, and introducing the Theremin. See a live on-stage theremin demonstration before both screenings of Spellbound. Saturday, April 26 at 2:30 and 7 at the Rome Capitol Theater. Tickets on sale now.
Now at Kubota Orange Days, your local Kubota dealer at White's Farm Supply is delivering the savings you need for the life you love. Join us on Saturday, April 26th at our Waterville location for the exclusive deals on America's favorite compact tractors. We'll help you find the perfect match with special Orange Days financing and savings. Don't miss this chance to save on the Kubota you've always wanted. Only at White's Farm Supply in Waterville on Saturday, April 26th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m.
White's Farm Supply.
Uncertainty, the unknown. These can be some of the greatest fears people face. There is a chance for a life of greater certainty that the Rome Rescue Mission provides. We call it a hand up, not a handout. The Rome Rescue Mission provides the basic necessities and the skills needed to start a new life. It starts simply with someone to talk to. Knowing that someone cares, the Rome Rescue Mission strives to meet basic needs, food, shelter, and clothing, but more importantly, provides emotional and spiritual support. The Rome Rescue Mission helps people start a new and promising life. Being in need is not a choice. Helping is. An unlimited future starts at the Rome Rescue Mission through your generous support. Make a difference and donate now. RomeMission.org. That's RomeMission.org. Rome Rescue Mission. A hand up, not a handout.
Mattress Express's closeout sale on brand new leftover inventory and floor models. Right now, buy a king or queen and get a free adjustable base. Take up to 5 years to pay with no money down for qualified buyers and no credit check payment plans available as well.
Don't miss Clinton Tractor Spring Sales Event. We're giving you the best deals of the season on all of our inventory. Thousands of used and new equipment in stock, all in one location. Get 0% financing on new Ferris commercial mowers, Massey Ferguson, and New Holland equipment. And trailers and used equipment as low as 5.49%. Restrictions apply. We're giving you the best deals of the season. It's Clinton Tractor Spring Sales Event.
We are the leader in service, Clinton Tractor.
ClintonTractor.net.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-885-5995. 800-885-5995. 800-885-5995.
Millions of Americans take medicine like Ozempic and Zepbound. Many of them are overpaying by thousands of dollars a year. These GLP-1 medications for diabetes, weight loss, and more may not always be covered by your insurance, but GoodRx can help. GoodRx helps you save every month on prescriptions at over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide. Best of all, it's free to use. Check GoodRx to save on GLP-1s. Just go to GoodRx.com/GLP. That's GoodRx.com/GLP. GoodRx is not insurance but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
Stop putting off registering for the 2025 Boilermaker Road Race because it's almost sold out. People are sprinting to Boilermaker.com to grab their racing bibs before they're gone. Reserve your spot at the starting line now and punch your ticket to the world's best post-race party, where there will be live music, drinks, food, and plenty of surprises. This year's Boilermaker will be bigger and better than ever, but the window to sign up is closing. So run, don't walk, to Boilermaker.com and sign up for one of America's most famous races. See you at the starting line July 13th.
WIBX.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
Alrighty. Davey's dancing in the other room, not because he likes the song, but because it's Friday.
Right.
Yeah. In studio right now, Dr. Zielinski and Dr. Shemileski from the Falcon Clinic. Falcon Clinic, let's just go over this. The premier osteopathic medical clinic in the area, which means what? First of all, I mean, I explain it every day, but I'm not sure I get it exactly right.
I like to think of it as a different perspective, a different way of looking at things. Osteopathic medicine has been around for about 150 years, started by a Civil War surgeon there, Andrew Taylor Still. And, of course, at that time, they didn't know anything about, bacteria and very little about an immune system or anything like that. But he noticed that people, somehow got better. So there was an inherent ability to heal oneself. And he thought, how can I tap into that?
Yeah.
And so he went back to the anatomy books and started looking at the bones and the nerves and the blood vessels and everything. And he said, geez, if we can somehow deal with people's bodies and their anatomy in order to improve their breathing, their circulatory system, relieve pain and stuff like that, then we would be helping them. And in the process of that, he was treating all kinds of infectious diseases, including tuberculosis, and even at that time, cancer, because you didn't have anything then, And then a lot of your things where people fell off horses and buckboards and everything like that. And so while Dr. Zielinski and I, we are trained in traditional medicine, and surgery and obstetrics. The thing is that the osteopathic approach embraces all of that, but in addition, we usually try to start with the anatomy and physiology when somebody has something.
Well, think about it. If your ears are plugged,
right,
you will have pain,
right,
and it could get infected. Yep. It's really that's why, for instance, the procedure that you do, Dr. Zielinski, and actually you both do, but what I take advantage of every month is really making sure everything is draining properly. All of those things are working. If you can start with that, that's probably a pretty good start.
If I can just give you a quick example there, I had what I thought was an ear infection. It was hurting quite a bit for a few days or so, and I was thinking maybe I need some eardrops or something like that. And then I thought, wait a second, why don't I try some lymphatic drainage, which I did around the ear and the neck and a few places myself. And within 24 hours, I mean, I had been suffering for almost a week. The pain was gone. And I did have it looked at afterwards. There was no infection.
Interesting. All right. Today, when you guys come in, you always pick a topic. And this one is a topic for me. I love it. I am dealing with it every single day. And it's probably because of the medicine I have to take. But I do think that as we get older, it is something that you deal with that, I used to be able to go to bed at midnight, get up at 4 a.m., no nap, no nothing. Yes, if I sit down, I might fall asleep, but I could just keep going. And I think that as you maybe post 50, it does change. But the other part of this is how many people are on medications. It could be blood pressure medication. It could be the oral chemo that I take, which causes chronic fatigue. I don't want to do all the talking here because you guys are the experts, but I do feel like I'm an expert in what I'm feeling. And the other part of this is if you have chronic fatigue, it's easy for somebody to say, and I do think I did this with my wife when she has Sjogren's syndrome, and she would have these fatigue moments where we just couldn't, if we were going out, we couldn't go out. And I didn't really understand it, but I do now because I experience it, and I should have understood it. But you literally feel like you can't take another step. If you don't lay down, you're not going to make it from point A to point B. That's the fatigue that I feel usually just before I take my quad espresso every day, which is 4 shots of pumping caffeine.
Yeah.
Now you guys take the floor.
And Dr. Shimoleski and I were talking about that recently, that you are far from the only one who suffers from that problem. It seems that, and we can talk about a variety of reasons as to why this might be the case, but we have just been having an unprecedented number as of lately of patients, established patients, new patients, primary care patients, osteopathic patients, whatever, that are coming to us and telling us, Doc, I am just so tired.
Yeah.
And we usually see, chronic fatigue is a common cause for a patient to come to see a primary care doctor or an osteopath, but the frequency that we're seeing is really unprecedented. And we were talking about earlier this week a number of different reasons why we think that might be the case. Do you want to share some things we talked about there?
And debilitating. For people.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Doc?
Well, one of the first things that I learned in medical school is if you have somebody who has a symptom of some kind, like chronic fatigue, one of the first things you do is you look at the medications. You look from the outside and see, is that a problem, like you mentioned. But then the other thing, when people think of chronic fatigue, they usually think of either anemia or a thyroid problem, or lately it's been like a COVID or post-COVID and Lyme
That's
disease.
Another issue, the COVID.
Yeah.
And these are all things we check for.
Yeah, and we do. And that brings me to the point. We talked about that in order to treat something, you have to have a diagnosis. I remember my dad as a physician said, diagnosis, diagnosis, diagnosis. And so you try doing some basic things, with blood work and urine and sometimes different imaging studies, and try to come through with what you think is the diagnosis.
Yeah.
But sometimes people will all of a sudden just say, oh, you know what your problem is? You're depressed. And maybe that is the problem.
Sure,
but you do
sure.
need to check out other things.
Sometimes and I can tell you firsthand, the fatigue can cause depression.
Yeah.
I saw it in my wife, and I've experienced it myself. When you used to be able to do things and you just are too tired to do it, that's depressing.
Yeah, and the amount of, like I said, and you said, the amount of effort that you have to put into, it's depressing in itself because you're taxing yourself even more.
Yeah, mentally.
Well, when you think about the human condition, there's Harrison's textbook of internal medicine. And if you look through that, basically every disorder has some degree of fatigue or chronic fatigue, except for, I think, hebephrenic schizophrenics. Those are people who just laugh out loud about everything, and they're totally...
Maybe I'd be better off that way.
And they're mentally ill. I don't mean to be critical.
I understand.
But, so
joke.
people just don't feel good, and the energy is not there for some reason. So that's why they come to us for a workup. And I'll be the first to admit that sometimes we will do a trial of medication.
Yeah.
If everything comes back normal, and you say like, well, maybe it is your depression. But we don't just stop and just give them the medication. I think most doctors don't. Most doctors would say maybe try some medication, a trial of medication.
Right.
Maybe some counseling. Look into your social situation and stuff, because you have three things, the stool of life, I think, and one of them is, your health. The other one is your personal relationships at home, and then your relationships at work.
How, I don't want to interrupt with a question, but I tend to do that. How safe or unsafe, because I am yelled at all the time, is 4 shots of espresso. Seems to get me going. I can get right back to work. And I don't even like coffee, to be honest with you. I wish it came in Diet Pepsi.
I love
but it doesn't.
Diet Pepsi coffee flavored?
Hate it. But I quickly drink it down, and man, I am moving. The other thing that I get yelled at about from my kids mainly is the 5-hour shots.
Yes.
So how safe are all of these things? Because we're really, really kicking our system with a hard shot of caffeine. But then you really have to consider, if I'm driving down the road and we're on a trip and we're coming back from New York and I'm on the thruway.
Or North Carolina.
While it may not be safe, the safest thing in the world for you, the healthiest thing for you, it certainly beats driving off the road and into another car.
Of course.
Driving drowsy.
So you could take all of that and talk about that in a nutshell, if possible.
Well, I will say Dr. Shimoleski and I also have not just one, but several cups of coffee every morning.
Yeah.
So I think a couple of cups of coffee or shots of espresso to get you going in the morning is fine. I would definitely avoid it maybe after like lunchtime or something like that, because then you'll have trouble getting to sleep, and you'll also run into chronic fatigue secondary to insomnia. So you definitely don't want the cure to be worse than the disease in that regard. But I think one or several cups of coffee, shots of espresso in the morning is good. There's actually been some research that shows that if you have one or a few cups of coffee a day, a lower risk of dementia. But
interesting.
So take that for what it's worth. But I would say in the morning is fine.
I never do it in the morning. It's always noon to 1 o'clock.
And that's
the Hail Mary.
I feel like for me the 4 o'clock, 4 o'clock, anything after that is probably.
I think that's a safe time to stop. I think noon is the latest that I would seriously consider doing that. Now, when you're driving, especially if you're with your wife or one of your kids or something like that. If you could switch on and off with somebody, or even stopping every hour or two to get out and stretch can be very helpful. I find I really, and Dr. Shimoleski as well, don't really need much coffee in the afternoon because, and obviously this might be a different story for you being in a radio studio like this, but we're up, we're moving, we're doing OMT on patients.
Right.
So we're pretty active at work, but if you're able to, even in between, us and whoever's coming on next, if you're able to even, walk up and down the hallway for a brief moment, that can get you stimulated mentally and physically.
Well, believe me, I'm very stimulated right up until 9 o'clock. There's plenty of stimulation. I have no worries, no problems there.
So I think that what you're doing, in short summary, is fine. I just wouldn't do anything after the hour that you said that you stopped there.
What about the safety of the 5-hour shot, which everybody seems, that's not good for you?
I would caution people about those because there are a lot of electrolytes in those, like magnesium and potassium and stuff like that, where if you are using them in excess, you can get heart palpitations.
Sure.
And the dose of caffeine in those is really quite high. I would stick more with, there's been much more research about things like coffee and espresso and the lower risk of dementia, like we talked about before.
I will tell you, the berry 5-hour tastes so much better than coffee.
It is tasty.
Yeah, Dr. Chmielewski.
Well, I keep thinking of the thing was you shouldn't beat a dead horse,
Yeah.
And when you're talking about these energy drinks and things like that, that have sugar in them as well.
They're big today.
What happens? We push
ourselves,
ourselves, and then we finally crash.
Yeah.
And that can be from overwork too, and then we finally crash. We have our coffee, not we, but people have we do have the donuts. We have coffee and donuts, and you have a big sugar high, and then the insulin comes in, you drop it, and now you're fatigued again. So you're beating a dead horse there all the way. I think that naps are so underrated,
Yeah,
even
a
short occasional, even a power nap or something.
The NASA nap that they call it, 26 minutes.
Really?
Yeah, they call it the NASA nap.
Okay.
NASA.
I'll try that. But, so we have to deal with our bodies. And if it means making sure that you do have enough water and you do have enough adequate food, which means especially a little bit of protein and fiber, and not so much of the simple sugars because you're going to crash at about 10 o'clock. And that's why you need a donut and another cup of coffee.
Right.
But if you're burning your fuel all along, you're going to have more energy on a regular basis.
Yeah.
So that's the idea.
And there is that crash, right? It's like a caffeine crash.
Yeah.
It's
you're
the worst.
You should probably take that 20 or however long
26 minutes.
They do say there's a limit. If you go over 45 minutes, you go into a deeper sleep and you might be groggy after. But I agree. A nap is highly underrated.
And as far as snacks go, so I know we talked about donuts, but there are energy bars, power bars out there that are of much higher nutritional quality. So, maybe instead of a donut, if you could reach for one of those if you need something to snack on around 10 a.m. or in the middle of the afternoon, like Dr. Chmielewski was saying before, just, no pun intended, food for thought.
I would like to dovetail on this conversation. You brought up power bars and other ways to boost someone's energy, but what if somebody is taking your words to heart, saying after 12 o'clock, I need to stop cold turkey with the caffeine and the coffee. What are ways to elevate someone's energy levels naturally, either supplements or activities that they can do quickly to get that needed boost?
Personally, I would say one of the things is just kind of slow down physically for a little bit. You mentioned a little bit of the nap, even a power nap. Another one is meditation. Okay.
Really?
Meditation, sure, because, we're constantly using our brains. That's a lot of energy. A major portion of our blood flows mostly to our brain rather than to other organ systems. And sometimes you just need to quiet that down, even if it's a matter of like 3 to 4 minutes, especially when you're not driving.
Right.
But, but meditate
Bill was
for a
behind
little
someone
bit.
who was meditating behind the wheel this morning.
Oh, okay.
Time and a place for everything.
We certainly had a little of that. And believe me, I've been on a long trip where I've just taken a quick nap in the car. And again, if you're driving if you're falling asleep and you're driving, you're putting yourself and others in danger. You got to do what you got to do.
Well, there are people who have, sleep apnea too. And those people, they wake up in the morning and they're still tired and throughout the day on stuff. So again, I mentioned things like, Lyme disease and COVID and stuff like that. This is where you need to make a diagnosis there. But even with all the studies and everything that you have done, you may not come through with a diagnosis.
Right.
So if you don't come through with a specific diagnosis, you have a few options. And I think some of the main ones that we've talked about today is dealing with your different systems there to try to normalize or make your body more efficient.
Right.
Either mentally, physically. And we mentioned the other thing, too, about spirituality.
Yes, we did.
If you want to talk about that a little.
Sure. So we are very big believers as osteopaths in the mind-body-spirit connection, and that spiritual component is very important. Now, we always leave that up to our patients as far as what that looks like to them. Does it mean going to a church or a mosque or a synagogue? That's up to them, but we think that it's very important to have some connection to spirituality, to a higher power, to nature, something bigger than yourself. And we find that people who lack of sense of direction in life, whether it's a purpose or the aspiration to get to heaven or harmony or whatever you want to call it, people can be really lost, for lack of a better word. I don't know if I explained that well enough, or if you want to expand on that a little bit.
Well, actually, you just described my wife. It's amazing how because she is the higher power in the relationship, and when she says jump, you jump, and that's how you come to that is. But listen, it is important. Whatever anyone has, whatever that means to you, that is extremely important.
Well, I'm sorry. And so I think if I could add one more thing very quickly on that, if you have a sense of purpose that's bigger than yourself, you have drive that recharges your spiritual battery and your desire and your willingness to go to work, to take care of your kids, to drive forward. Even as we all know in life, stress is going to come. Money might be tight. Various things, put in long hours at work, taking care of a newborn baby, waking up every 2 hours and stuff like that. This is going to come, pretty much all of our way at some point. So having that goal, that higher purpose, Dr. Shimoleski and I think is incredibly important. And very briefly, an advantage perhaps of coming to an osteopath to be evaluated and treated for your chronic fatigue. So we do a full workup, like Dr. Shimoleski said, for things like anemia, vitamin deficiency, thyroid issues, autoimmune disease, Lyme disease, long COVID, and so on and so forth, sleep apnea, possible depressive psychiatric disorders as well. But one thing also that we talked about recently that I think is very important is the importance of the osteopathic exam and treatment if there are dysfunctions present. Because if you have somebody, for example, who's walking around on an uneven pelvis and has a limp or has a vertebra that's maybe out of alignment in their lumbar spine or whatever, or restrictions in their hips or knees or what have you, they're probably expending 2 or 3 or more times the amount of energy walking
they normally would
as a normal person. And that can be very tiring, very fatiguing after a while if you do that. So having somebody who can, realign you, alleviate restrictions, get things moving better, that in and of itself can help chronic fatigue.
Closing this up, if you are relatively healthy, or you have been relatively healthy, and all of a sudden you're beginning to experience a chronic fatigue, it could be a warning sign of something much bigger, and even beyond Lyme disease or long COVID. It could be cancer. It could be so. It's important if you're feeling that to reach out,
get a thorough workup. Yes,
to your doctor.
Absolutely, diagnosis.
And I did not know your father was a physician. So. Yeah.
In the area here, he had his private practice, but he was a psychiatrist.
Okay.
And that's why I think one of the reasons why I get interested in the mental health aspect with people. It's so important. One thing there. One thing I ask patients a lot of times, I'll say, what is your passion in life, And they'll kind of look at me kind of weird. And I say, because a passion means you want to wake up in the morning, to do something or think of something or create something or go somewhere or just paint watercolors. What is your passion in life? Yeah. We have to have passion. And I know there are a lot of people, they suffer with chronic heart problems there. We didn't really touch much on that with
cardiovascular,
because you need a workup for that. But we need to, even in terms of cancer and struggling and things like that, even with that, what is your passion?
Right.
And I think we need to examine that and how we can light up even just one corner of our life.
Interesting stuff. Falcon Clinic is in Washington Mills.
Yes.
Phone call away. You're accepting new patients. I think we talk about that.
Yes, we are.
doctors,
new patients, and also if people, we don't try to take patients away from their doctors, God forbid. We say, use us as a consultant.
Yeah.
Or if you just want to have other workup, or you want us to do an osteopathic exam or whatever, second opinion. With you have your practitioner, stay with them.
Dr. Shemileski, Dr. Zielinski, gentlemen, thank you so much.
Thank you, Bill.
Have a great weekend. It's going to rain, I think, but we're warming up. I will take that.
That's what matters.
Yes, take that every day of the week. All right, I got a break. Coming up, Ben the Farmer is in, and what in the world does Chobani's announcement mean for farmers? It's pretty huge, pretty amazing. We'll get right to it at WIBX.
Hey, if you have ugly yellow toe fungus, you got to hear about the secret 2-minute trick that I found for my husband. It works from both the inside and the outside. Thousands of people are using it to get rid of their toe fungus. You can check it out at crystalflesh.com. Jake started off with a small spot on his big toe, and then it spread and got really bad. His toes were nasty. It was so embarrassing. He was afraid to take his socks off. He hid his yellow and crumbly toes from everyone. He tried everything to get rid of it. Nothing helped. And then we found crystalflesh.com. It was the only thing that worked. In just a few weeks, his toes looked amazing. He's now walking around barefoot again. You guys need to try this. I'm telling you, this stuff is different. It's not sold in stores, but go check it out at crystalflesh.com. They'll even let you try it risk-free, so you have nothing to lose. But whatever you do, don't let it get worse. You don't have to live with this anymore. Go check it out now. Just click over to crystalflesh.com.
Country rock trailblazer, Brantley Gilbert, the Tattoos Tour 2025. Adirondack Bank Center, Friday, April 25th, with special guests Travis Denning and Peyton Smith. Get tickets now at EmpireStateTix.com. The brand new album Tattoos is available everywhere. For more, visit BrantleyGilbert.com. Produced by Pepper Entertainment.
Attention vendors, crafters, and collectors. Looking for a perfect place to sell your goods and reach thousands of eager shoppers? It's the world's largest yard sale happening again this year at the Herkimer County Fairgrounds, June 14th. It's the ultimate selling opportunity. No more setting up signs, hoping for traffic, or dealing with no-shows. At the world's largest yard sale, thousands of shoppers come ready to buy. Whether you sell antiques, collectibles, handmade crafts, vintage clothing, or secondhand treasures, this is the place to be. But hurry, booth spaces are filling up fast. Secure yours today and get ready to turn your inventory into instant cash. It's the world's largest yard sale at the Herkimer County Fairgrounds, June 14th, featuring the jazz sounds of the Dovetones. For vendor info and booth reservations, visit the events page on this station's website. Don't wait, this event is too big to miss. Sponsored by the Potting Shed Antiques, John's Mobile Homes and Accessories, Standard Heating, Cooling, and Insulating, Clinton Tractor and Implement Company, and James Mitsubishi.
Every once in a while, something that sounds too good to be true is actually, in fact, true. How would you like up to $4,000 of free windows? And when I say $4,000 of free windows, I mean $4,000 of free windows. No gimmicks or games. You don't have to buy $4,000 to get $4,000 free. You just get up to $4,000 of free windows through Patriot Home Solutions and NYSERDA. Of course, some restrictions apply, but none of these restrictions are income-based, and you don't have to sit through a long, drawn-out sales presentation. Give Patriot a call at 315-401-0440, and they can quickly tell you over the phone if you qualify or how you can get qualified. That's 315-401-0440. These aren't any windows. They're high-quality, custom-fitted windows designed to save energy and keep the cold air out all winter. Your window solution is Patriot Home Solutions. Online at patriothomesolutions.com.
Mattress Express's closeout sale on brand new leftover inventory and floor models. Right now, buy a king or queen and get a free adjustable base. Take up to 5 years to pay with no money down for qualified buyers and no credit check payment plans available as well.
Hi folks, this is Rob Hilton. Your family is your greatest treasure. Is your estate plan ready to protect them when it matters most? At Hilton Estate and Elder Law, we understand the importance of getting it right. That's why we offer a free review of your current plan. Together we'll assess it and provide honest feedback to ensure it truly works. No cost, no obligation, just confidence and peace of mind. Let's prepare for the future together. Schedule a free review today.
Hilton, you know the name, they know the law.
Jake Cannell with Blues here, the Blues Brothers of Central New York, here at the Rome Capitol Theater, preparing for the CNY Onstage Live event.
And this event is going to be bigger than ever. It's showtime for 18 incredible acts on Saturday, May 10th at 7. Magicians, comedians, musicians, and Showtime the Band with special guests. CNY Onstage Live at the Capitol Theater, Saturday, May 10th at 7. Tickets on sale now.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-885-5995. 800-885-5995. 800-885-5995. Get pumped for summer. Add smart heat pump cooling and heating to your home. Call City Suburban today. 315-864-9734 or go online to citysuburban.com. That's citysuburban.com.
WIBX.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
It was a big week. It was really a big week. Deeds, I don't know what you're saying in the messages. I guess I'm not seeing that. We're reading messages here from YouTube, where you can watch every single morning. Pretty easy. Just search Keeler live stream. Or in the app, you can download that. Search WIBX 950 in Google Play or the App Store. And bingo, you'll get the app for free. And there's a lot of stuff you can get there. And I'll add one more thing. Darlene, the wedding is May 31st. That's apparently when Josh Allen's getting married. I don't know. I just made an aside. I saw pictures last night of his wedding. There was a secret wedding. They got married. Turns out it's all Photoshop fake news.
And you can also get the show downloadable on your Apple or iPhone or Android phone on podcasts, because I work very hard putting that up every morning for after the show.
I want to tell you that there may be, like, for instance, this morning, Melissa Schwartz, attorney for Caitlin Conley, was on. You missed it. Yeah, you can go back and watch the replay on YouTube, or you can go to our website, search for podcasts under Keeler. And is that interview already up? Not yet. Oh, Davey. Some days he has them up before they even get done. I don't know how he does it.
Magic.
It's like the interview's up before the interview even happens.
He's a technical whiz.
Ben, the agriculturist. I say that because I like the word farmer, but we've learned that there's a lot of science going into it. There always has been, but more so now than ever, and it's going to be needed going forward.
Yes, it is.
This is a boon for dairy farmers.
It is.
The Chobani announcement.
It has put a whole new spirit into the farmers out in the countryside. I got to tell you, my phone rings. I see the emails and the Snapchats going on. But I want to back up and start out with saying, if you remember right, Bill and Megan, the last time I was on, I surprised you all when I said that no matter how everything is in New York State is still ag friendly.
Yeah.
And now here we are with a big Chobani plant coming to Oneida County, and that's just another part of saying that New York and Oneida County is very, very ag friendly. And with all the economic development going on with the Dan Foss down there and Wolf Speed and all those different plants,
Micron coming,
Micron and microchips and all that.
Isn't it funny that it's that it turns out to be dairy farming that is going to really result in 1,000+ jobs and a billion dollar investment out in Rome. It is incredible, but it does take a very special company, relationship with local officials and with government.
Yep.
And a philosophy of doing business that allows a company to go from nothing to $1 billion and create, by the way, a category in the grocery stores that really didn't exist before Chobani.
Right.
Greek yogurt.
You're totally correct. When Chobani first started out, who ever heard of the word Chobani? And Greek yogurt was virtually unheard of. It was kind of like a little side shelf thing.
It was like a specialty thing, like vegan items.
Yes, and now it's a staple in every home just about, and it's a household name. And no matter where you go, when you get on an airplane, like we just went out to Branson, Missouri, and just got back, every airport we were in, Chicago, St. Louis, Missouri, out there to St. Louis, there was Chobani yogurt in all them coolers.
Yeah.
So it's worldwide. But I just want to make sure that we really got to take some time here, and we got to back this thing up just a little bit.
Okay.
And we've got to give credit to how this became here in Oneida County. And like I said, Oneida County and New York State is very farm friendly. And I know that blew everybody's mind when I said that. But if you get outside of New York and find out how the farmers are doing, what their concerns are, you'll find out that we are not so bad farm friendly in New York and Oneida County. But we really got to give a praise here to our county executive, Tony Pacini, and his economic development staff. Because, Megan, you said it a moment ago off the air, and I'd like you to repeat that, because that's true in so many ways.
So first, let's do, that's for Anthony Pacenti right there.
And his
Claps
staff.
and cheers. Because I'm sure, like you said, the AAG community here in New York is just completely revitalized because of his efforts. And I compared, after hearing every single story from those recounting how Chobani decided to ultimately expand in Rome versus Michigan and other cities, other states, is because once Tony had the scent, I compared it to, and I meant it respectfully, like a pit bull, because once he had that scent, he latched on and just did not let go. He was completely 100% in his own, like, confidently advocating for Central New York. So that's why I compared it. Like, he just was not going to let go. He was going to continue to make sure that he was going to get the win for the city of Rome, and he did it.
Yeah. And
And that was fascinating that he was able to get people across the aisle to work together to bring Chobani to its new home in Rome.
You got it. And I want to make sure on behalf of the agricultural community that we owe a true debt to the county executive and his economic development team, because when they got onto this, when it was approached to them, you're right, they didn't give up on this thing. And here we are with 1,000 jobs coming, a $1.2 billion investment. That is not an investment that somebody's going to build and say, well, it didn't work out, we're going to walk away. It's here to stay.
Yes.
And the farmers, I got to tell you, the farm ag community out there is asking me, they're going, Ben, you going to put cows back on? You going to milk more cows?
Right.
And everybody is enthused about this. And the milk supply will come.
And
There's no question about that.
And
They're gonna grow.
one of the things that I think has to be thought of, first of all, we have in our history in the last 30 years had situations where farmers had to dump milk.
Correct.
We
went through COVID where we dumped milk because there was no place to get rid of it.
Very difficult times with that. Additionally, when a farmer goes to the bank and says, I just lost a tractor, I need investment, we need to spend money. You had an industry that was struggling in New York State, and Chobani put a real boost into that when they came to New Berlin. But now with this, a farmer can go to the bank and say,
I have a market.
I have a business plan, and it involves supplying milk to this new company, at least new for Rome, to Chobani. I really feel they have a great position to be able to get the money that they need to be able to expand, so that we are in tip-top shape and ready to go in 2 years when this plant is, or even in a year. I think they plan to be open by the fall of next year.
Yep, that's the plan, I guess. That's what they're telling us.
It is. I think they're in a better place by far right now.
You're 100%.
And you can tell by talking to farmers at the event on Tuesday who were ecstatic.
Right after COVID got done.
Yeah.
The large co-ops here in the Northeast put quotas on farmers. They put a base on a farm. If you were producing a certain amount of milk of an average of like 3 years, they gave you basically a quota, and you weren't to go over that quota. because there was no place to get rid of the milk. You follow me? Manufacturing hadn't geared up, and we just got off of COVID, and there was so much milk being dumped. And then
that's so wasteful.
And you're right, but the farmers are very resilient. They are always looking to grow no matter what. And so the co-ops told them, you got to slow down. There's no place to get rid of the milk, or we're going to start dumping your milk. And then in the past 6 months to a year, the big co-ops have backed off on their quota system because a lot of milk plants are starting to increase production. They're building plants. They're doing making updates. And now all of a sudden, with this big news here in Chobani taking on all this milk, now all of a sudden everybody's like, we got a market. And the other thing that's happening is when a farmer goes out and borrows money, Bill, you're 100% correct. The first thing the banker says to the farmer, where are you marketing your milk?
Oh, you have a business plan that's solid.
It's now when they say Chobani, the banks are actually looking to say, okay, what would you like to expand?
Rome Sentinel had a really good story about this, and speaking with the Cornell Cooperative Extension.
Yep.
And the optimism that they have, and just the fact that, listen, they chose this area because of our very resilient farmland and farmers and farm community. It is amazing that after all of this, all of the push that we have made over the years in technology and everything else, that we're coming back to the basics of agriculture to land a huge business at Griffiths. It's incredible.
It is.
Think about it.
And I want to go one step further if I can.
Okay.
I look at this as a transfer of wealth, because they're going to build a plant right here in Oneida County, and then all the farmers' milk from this area is going to go in the plant, go all over the United States, and then that money comes back to the plant, which comes back to the farmers in upstate New York. So it's a transfer of wealth from all over the country right back to the farmers, which is going to be spent right here in central New York. It's a win-win for everybody.
So are you switching back to dairy?
I'm 63 years old. I just got my first Social Security check, and I'm kind of enjoying being Farmer Ben. And if I go back to milking cows, I'm not going to have the time to come down and see you as much, Bill.
But I'm so enthused. From the barn. How about that?
We can do that.
There is no, people, I have friends I went to school with, and we'd all be going off on vacation, and they couldn't because they're dairy farmers, and
I milk cows.
Cows don't wait.
No, I milk cows 7 days short of 40 years, and my wife is saying now it's our time.
Yeah,
and so,
but it does seem to be our time with this news. This
is great.
It also
I can't. I'm so ecstatic that
your smile is infectious.
And well, look at the atmosphere, Bill. You were there. Megan, you were there. Look at the atmosphere that was in that airplane hangar that day. It was just, and a lot of people are farmers there and ag people.
And did some of them lose their barns this winter? Because that's what I would like to bring up is this was like the shot of adrenaline that they needed. This was the perfect thing to turn that tide around because, again, how many cows did our local farmers lose due to barn collapses?
A lot of farmers are very pride people, so they do not want to put the word out.
Yeah.
But I can tell you that it was in the hundreds when you add up everything. We're not going to
sad.
go there much.
Yes, I know.
But the farmers, I got to tell you, the farmers have a new life to them. They're smiling and they're like, we got a plant. We've got milk place to put our product versus being tampered down a little bit. They're saying now, open up the floodgates, guys. Raise heifers and milk cows. You got 2 years, and they will do it. I guarantee it.
Awesome.
The farms are getting bigger, and they're getting more efficient. We were talking about technology earlier. It's going to happen. This is a great shot, not only for the local. I know you've had all the local elected officials on, the mayor and everybody, but this is a big, huge shot for the agricultural community and the infrastructure, all the tractor dealers and the equipment dealers and the veterinarians, because it all trickles down. It's a trickle-down effect.
Yeah. Okay, Ben, thank you. And
thank you, Bill.
Congratulations to all farmers out there. This is a really exciting, and as Sheriff Mashel said the other day, not only that, but you have a bunch of construction workers that are going to be needed to build this thing. There's a lot of activity that's going to be happening very quickly as they're already submitting paperwork to get started. So pretty wild.
This is huge. And I want to thank you, Bill and Megan, for having me in.
All right, Ben. Thank you. And thank you for you brought sausage.
I did.
Good stuff. Thank you. Enjoy the weekend. The first Bloom bridal event is now underway, but the final days, because it goes till April 30th at Steve Lennon and Company Jewelers in the village of New Hartford. 30% off engagement ring settings, buy one, get one free wedding bands, in-store 12-month interest-free financing, an amazing custom bridal line with custom-made wedding rings and bands, as well as repairs, all done right in store in front of you, if you choose, by GAA-certified master jewelers and gemologists, Steve Lennon and Company Jewelers, 23 Genesee Street, New Hartford. Your trusted jeweler for over 30 years. Private appointments available upon request. Enjoy the warmer weather today. And the weekend is what it is, but we're moving in the right direction. Back on Monday.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX Utica, Rome.
W295EI.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, a Town Square media station.
Another round of talks trying to end the war in Ukraine. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
How are you, Mr. President? Thank you.
That's Special U.S. Envoy Steve Witkoff in Russia, greeting leader Vladimir Putin, still trying to work out a peace deal. But so far, Ukraine's pushed back on the U.S. recognizing Crimea as Russian now, a region of Ukraine taken by force and annexation over a decade ago. Hours before that meeting, Russia hit Ukraine with another drone strike, killing 3 people the day after a deadly drone and missile barrage on the capital, Kyiv, prompted President Trump to urge Putin to stop. Now, NATO leader Mark Rutte just told Fox whatever peace deal is struck must include deterrence for Russia.
Never ever to try to catch another square mile of Ukraine, let alone try to catch a square mile of NATO territory in the future. And that means that he has to understand that when he